Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast. This is FSP episode number 90. And we actually have some gaming news to talk about today because stuff was popping last night and this morning a little bit regarding gaming news. And going to be some stuff. We got a PlayStation State of Play coming this week. We have the new president of Blizzard was announced today. IGN is up to their usual shenanigans and actually causing news in a negative way against them, which is interesting. But also, while they're trying to spread negativity about a specific game, is just kind of interesting as well. But yeah, there's lots to talk about, and we're gonna have some fun getting into it. But I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out in the chat as always. Appreciate you all. You rock for being part of this fun speculation community. Anybody who's watching after the fact, thank you as well. I hope you're all doing good. It's January 29th. It's been a whirlwind of a January in the gaming world. And wow, I didn't even think this guy was gonna show up today. He's got a pack. He's moving tomorrow. So I guess
I'm talking right now. But I thought I would,
Oh, okay. This is gonna be great.
Oh, this is such high quality. What's up, man?
Is it decent quality?
No, it's all right. It's not bad. How you doing, 3-bit?
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm taking a little bit of a break, so I'll probably pop upstairs, hang out with you guys. I'm gonna move this last box.
Okay.
But I love you.
Wow.
All right. Cool. I'll see you again in a second, man. Nice hat. Nice hat, by the way. Love it.
Thank you.
And scarf. So that's 3-bit. We didn't think 3-bit was gonna make it tonight because he's literally packing. But he made it. So I guess he made it, sort of. But he will be making it, I guess. Psycho's not here because he's closing up shop tonight, and then he's got to open tomorrow again. So his work schedule's been absolutely crazy lately. But we got a nice little 4-person panel here. And how are you doing, Fuzz?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Just been enjoying the nonsense of IGN on Twitter, and yeah, enjoying seeing a lot. Well, some of the feedback from people that have been playing Suicide Squad. So I'm still on the fence. Not that I don't want the game. It's just I'm trying to figure out between now and was it Dogma 2 and Helldivers and all that.
Yeah.
Trying to navigate which ones I'm actually going to play as opposed to buy, and then have them sit in the backlog. But glad to be here. So much to talk about. Yeah, we're gonna have a good one.
Yeah, man, there is so much to play right now. I'm having trouble not just getting everything right now because these are all things I've been looking forward to. So, but yeah, we'll definitely gonna have a conversation about Suicide Squad here in a little bit. But hey, Jasper, how you doing? This is also you want to again. Look, we'd already told everybody on Xbox Ultimate for those that only watch FSP or don't watch. Ultimate. This is Jasper had an announcement, and do you want to go over that again, Jasper?
Yeah. So this February is going to be my last month on the Fun Speculation channel. I'm taking a job opportunity. I'll just leave it at that. So I'll be back maybe sometime mid-year at the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see how that works. But at least for the foreseeable future, I am going to be no longer on the channel for a little bit of time. Hopefully I can come back. So that's, just end of February. Yeah. It's my last show.
Yeah, it's going to suck. We're going to miss you, man. But anyway, besides that, what have you been up to?
I've been playing Marvel Snap like too much the last few
really?
days. Yeah.
We played a lot of Diablo yesterday.
Yeah, we played Diablo for a couple hours last night, and it's just Marvel Snap. I don't know, I've just been really into it.
Yeah, it's such a good mobile game. Did you like what you played of Season 3 of Diablo?
I mean, it was Diablo. It's like, it wasn't like game changing or anything. It was just kind of, I don't know.
More Diablo?
If you like Diablo, it's Diablo. Yeah, it's just Diablo. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun. I played some last week with Pong, and then we dove back in and played several hours last night. Got our Fire Sorks up to like level 50 something, 55-ish or roughly around there. We're in World Tier 3 now. We kind of pulled Jasper along and power leveled him up a little bit, so he's getting there. and having a blast. I know that some in the Blizzard community aren't as into this season. For me, for some reason, I don't really get it. I'm really enjoying it. Like you get some of the best parts of what was great about season 2, but also you get more of like a better, I think, story as well with this season, which is pretty cool, and a good hub area and stuff like that. So I'm really digging season 3 for
I
Diablo
know
4.
a lot of people are not liking the little like robot spider thing that follows you
Yeah.
around, but I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like it too. Like, I think people are just focused on how much damage that thing puts out itself, right? But like, it's just like an added companion, which it does a
Yeah.
pretty damn good job as that. But I think more than anything, the things that it can do for your character with like either healing you, which there's builds where you can apply certain traits or while you're healing, right? So like, you can have that, which you get the benefits from that, or you can have it like give you barriers, right? Which there's certain builds where you get benefits when you have a barrier or something, or fortify on and stuff like that, and not having to have that as one of your skills, but have it do it for you lets you be more creative with your builds and stuff. So that's what I think is cool. You can kind of go out there with your builds while you have this kind of act as a supplement to your abilities to make things happen. So I want to see like high levels with this thing. Rich, when people were complaining about it, there was no way they were already there. You know what I mean? So I think this has a lot of potential actually with the build. So looking forward to that. But anyway, Ed, let me know, chat, if you guys are enjoying Diablo. This is a game that we'll be playing for years off and on, right? But yeah, let's get into some of the news. And now, the other day, Special Nick had put out a cryptic tweet. Not so cryptic. I mean, he just pretty much said that there was going to be a state of play and announced in the coming days, and then it was going to be for like the end of January. He pretty much hit the nail on the head, because in 2 days we will have a state of play. Then he also led a bunch of like hints about what's going to be shown. Based on the fact that he was right about this, makes me pretty sure that he's right about the games that are going to be shown as well. So it looks to be kind of a state of play. Looks like kind of really focusing on their 2024 slate, which doesn't really seem to have many surprises in it if the rumors are true about the games releasing, except for there was one game there that he had hinted at, Judas, which is, I think that's the new Ken Levine game.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't know if that, and I don't remember when that was slated for or whatever, but that might be.
I think it was
shown.
25, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just love watching Fuzzy's cat play in the background on his bed right now. He's just going to town on a toy right there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it Judas 2025?
I think that's when it was announced for the date.
Right. So I'm gonna go to. I know we shared this in our DMs. I want to go to shout out to Special Nick and Insider, who does get some stuff right. And like, it's crazy when some of the Xbox guys get more PlayStation news right than the PlayStation guys. But
yeah, March 25 is its scheduled release date.
March 25 of. Okay. So that game may be there. Did we share this in the gaming news group or?
The state of play?
Yeah,
Or...
the Nick's tweet.
I don't know if we shared Nick's. I know we shared the actual Sony announcement, I believe.
Okay, let me go to Nick's tweet.
Yeah, it just
In the
looks like...
family one, we have Rand's post that came later. Oh, and
Okay.
there's also
because he
from
like
Nick as well.
he deciphered it pretty much. Okay, so I'm just trying to. Sorry guys, I should be more prepared on my links and stuff. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this is what Nick had said on Twitter. He said this yesterday. On the 31st, roughly, which he was accurate for the 31st, Ronins will rise. So Rise of the Ronin. We can probably expect that, which that would make sense because that's a game coming soon that is published by PlayStation. Trademark is owned by Koei Tecmo. Or Team Ninja, or is it Koei Tecmo? I can't, or both. I don't remember. Anyway,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So Ronins will rise. Then we'll die stranded, he says. So Death Stranding 2 will probably be there. Have a rebirth, which Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, another earlier release this year for PlayStation. And Kojima will fulfill his dream. So Death Stranding 2, we could probably expect. Sonic will live in the shadow of his generation. So Sonic Generations game, we can imagine, is what I'm assuming. While the hills will remain silent until the dawn. So Silent Hill.
Rand also put Until Dawn remaster, potentially,
which was already kind of announced or whatever. Or was it leaked or announced? I don't remember. But
I don't know.
I don't think anybody really cares.
Yeah.
And then the Silent Hill thing, which now there's also rumors about there being potentially a playable Silent Hill experience at the State of Play that people are going to be able to download like right away. I think PT, if they do like a new PT thing, that would be interesting, because PT was a Kojima made like experience that was with a tease for the new Silent Hill game before his fallout with Konami.
And then this game gets canceled, so then you have to sell another $500 demo PlayStation.
Right. When you'll need to catch the Metro, he says, which now also rumors are that there's going to be a Metro VR game.
Yeah, it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so VR, like when I saw Metro, I was like, oh, really? A new Metro game? But then you see the rumors that's a VR thing, is like, oh, okay. And then just don't be a Judas about it, he said. So that would lead us to think Judas may be there as well. So that's from the Nick tweets. And then the PlayStation's formal announcement today said, get ready for a new State of Play. Tune in on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm going to try and co-stream this here. Everybody, if you want to watch the State of Play with us and see what they got going on, that's going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 1 Eastern, or I'm sorry, that's 1 our time, I believe, or no, what my mind's all fucked up. That's 4
2 p.m. Pacific. That's 4. Yeah, that's 4.
Yeah, 4 our time. That'd be 5 Eastern. So look for our stream to go live around 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. For the co-stream of the State of Play. It says it's going to be 40 minutes long, covering 15 plus games. I don't know why they don't say how many games. Like,
I think it's 15 plus. Oh, I guess
it's like 15 plus. Like, just say exactly how many. Why not? Including extended looks at Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin, plus more from talented game developers from around the world. So Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, and Helldivers 2 are the games that are coming, I think, the soonest for them, around the corner. I'm not sure on Stellar Blade what its date is, but and then you have Final Fantasy also Rebirth, which is coming soon. So we should get a good look at some of these games, and we'll see. I mean, unless they have like, I don't know. Do you guys think they're going to have any surprise announcements of like new games coming this year?
I think it's more updates. Like, I think the biggest surprise is probably going to be that like Metro game, because like that's the only thing that's not really announced yet, right, on that list, besides the other remasters.
Right. Yeah, this is a special Nick
How many games did they say?
15 plus. It's going to be around 40 minutes long. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what's on that list from what Nick was saying, he's actually in the chat and said it was VR for something.
Yeah,
that's the
Metro one. So yeah, I do wonder if that list will fill up all that time, or if there's some surprises somewhere in there. Not sure, but I do have to give credit to Nick.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, I will say for past streams, I'm like, I don't know about Nick, I'm not sure, but I will always admit when I'm wrong. And he posted that like before a lot of other people. So
what's funny is there's this guy on Twitter, Alex something, I can't remember, but he like always posts fake shit, right? And Like
I know the one time.
yeah, and then last week he posted state of play announcement tomorrow or whatever, and like for sure, and he was like so dead wrong on that. And then like I think he's just trying to make educated guesses on things all the time, and like he's just always
Yeah.
wrong. But then Nick actually puts out this long deciphered like tweet, which like whatever, and then like it's like everything
for sure.
is
So
right.
credit to Nick, man. That was pretty cool, and that was kind of a fun tweet. It was like a I don't know, like Inspector Gadget type thing where you have to
Yeah.
decipher it. That was pretty fun. So
I
Yeah.
think the
That's
biggest.
PlayStation Insider.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know I said this in our DMs. I was saying like even our Xbox insiders, there's more Xbox insiders for PlayStation than there are PlayStation insiders in general. Like I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
That we even Xbox people are giving PlayStation some inside news. So
Yeah. But like
it is what it is.
I'm wondering if we'll see like any big, just at a glance, like there's some good games this year for PlayStation for sure, right? Like especially like if you want to call it second party publishing or whatever, you know, that are published by them, but not necessarily like their studios or whatever. There's a lot of that, and then there's some other good exclusives on PlayStation this year as well. But like, there's still from like the first party side.
That's what I was going to say.
Not that big, exciting game that really everybody's looking for.
But this could be the potential where they change that around, where they actually show us fair games in Concord. If they can, like, if those show off good and get people hyped, like that would be Sony's next big game, first party wise. If they show off well and people actually care about them.
Right on. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this in chat. Yeah, Nick just said, shout out to Nick for this little nugget in the chat. Says, should be getting the Nintendo Direct next week, I think, too. So if that's true, that would be pretty awesome. You know, it's early in the year, so a lot of these companies haven't had their big first news yet. This is going to be PlayStation's first thing this year. Then we'll have Nintendo's. I'm crossing my fingers at whatever the next Nintendo thing is. Please just go ahead and announce the next Switch, because everybody knows it's coming. Right, so if that happens next week, that would make me really kind of excited to see what that is. But we'll see. Like going back to PlayStation, like Fuzzy, do you think there's like one big like thing that we don't know about from PlayStation this year that they could reveal? Or because if they don't reveal it here, I don't know if it's gonna exist. You know,
I think they might save something for the PS5 Pro if that is actually coming out this year. I don't expect anything really big first party wise at this show. I think this will be another, paid exclusive third party show for the most part. It's hard to say. Like if I were Sony and you're not really saving Ben's new IP that they're working on for the PlayStation Pro, PS5 Pro, then I don't know. It would make sense to show it here. At least show something from your first party that's new and not a remaster. But I just have my doubts they're going to do it. It'll be a decent show. It'll just be a decent show of, timed exclusive third parties, and ones that are like partnered first parties, since you got Death Stranding 2 in there. But yeah, I don't expect anything that big of a surprise that will be a wow factor. I think it'll be something like maybe Devolver's supposed to do something this week as well. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be more of that sex DLC for Cult of the Lamb, because they already did that. So we'll see if there's any smaller new games that we were unaware of. I know that there was supposed to be some sort of game similar to like Biomutant that was like a cat game where it was like guns and melee weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that makes an appearance, because they seem to like to do those types of indie games.
Well, it will be interesting if we even get first party here, because like all the games that have been kind of, from what Nick said in the actual Sony announcement, like they're all third party. So do we even get first party?
Well, I
here?
mean, again, like there's some semantics there, right? Like Stellar Blade and Rise of the Ronin technically are
I know,
first-party
but
games,
they're
right?
technically like developed by like another. That's what I mean, like published fine or whatever, but like still like
it just may be a weaker year for Sony in terms of first party, but you already have fans moving the goalposts for that.
Because
But
like if they save the showcase for like E3 time or whatever, like maybe they try to get ahead of Wolverine, like all the negative stuff from the hack that came out, and they actually show that game off. Show Ben Studios games off because they've been in work on that for like 4
you
years.
think Concord will be here? Because that's supposed to release this year. Is that confirmed?
Unless if it's like second half, and which I'm assuming it probably is, or we were known about it, then again you could save that for your own showcase in E3 and have
If I
big
was
first
them,
party
though,
showcase.
I would take every advantage I have to show off. If it is coming out this year, right? I would take every advantage I have to show off Concord because there's literally nobody talking about it or any hype about it. Like
Yeah.
nobody even really knows what it is, and it's supposed to be a game this year from them, and it's supposed to be one of their multiplayer things, right? So, like, I think they really need to generate some excitement for that game. So, if I was them, I would show it off, but who knows if we'll see it or not? I think there's a lot of just lack of there's a huge lack of knowledge about what that project is. Literally, we saw a sandwich, and that I mean that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Like it's from a
Delivery.
unfamiliar studio too. You know what I mean? So there's really no track record to really go on there of what it is. Just what we read in the blog post about it. You know, so I don't know. If Fair Games, I think is next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe that's one they don't show off this time. But so with Stellar Blade, Rise of the Ronin, Death Stranding 2, maybe, Silent Hill, Metro VR game for the VR fans. Judas, which that actually has me interested to watch this.
Yeah, I'm excited
Right?
for Judas.
So to see if Judas is there, that would be really cool. It's slated, like you said, for 2025, Jasper.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get a good look at it, hopefully. Death Stranding 2.
Unless they bump the date up, because that date was announced like at 2 Game Awards ago. Like when they first showed off Judas, it was like coming March 25. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was 2 years ago. So they could have bumped it if everything's going good. I guess they could have moved it up, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. What is it out of the state of play, like what we know about, like what are y'all most excited for? Like
Um, Judas probably.
Yeah.
Because it's the one thing, like, I love BioShock. I love that universe, and just to see what that creator got going on for the next iteration, that I would say that for sure. But I'm also interested in seeing Rise of Ronin, this just to prove me wrong a little bit, because the last time I seen it, I was like, it's like looks okay. So I kind of want to see, like, maybe because I know that will be here for sure. So maybe that game, like, kind of proved me wrong a little bit. I'm ready to be proven wrong. So those 2 games are like the ones I'm looking towards for sure.
right
Yeah.
on. What about you, Fuzz?
I want to see what Silent Hill looks like. I want to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if it's a significant upgrade from what the previous games look
Yeah.
like something more along the lines of like the way Resident Evil was a big upgrade over the years, kind of thing. I'm hoping that shows well. I'm assuming they're going to probably still show Helldivers again, because did they really have a state of play for Helldivers already, or am I missing something?
They had a long trailer that they had just put out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You would think like it's literally launching the next day,
The 8th.
or the 8th, a week after. So
Yeah.
you would think they would
Mhm.
have it there. I mean, that would be really weird for them not to. So
Yeah.
they'd probably show off. Maybe they'll show off some pure gameplay or something like that from it. What about you?
That's about it. But yeah, hopefully this one shows better than the previous one where people had to make up the super secret second showcase shortly after.
Yeah,
So hopefully this one will land a little bit better.
it's a lot of the same games, right? It seems like it. So, what about you, Jasper?
Judas for sure. I really like the first 2 BioShocks. The third one I didn't really care much for, but so yeah, Judas.
Yeah.
Get back into that kind of flavor of a game.
So I want to count the games that were hinted at by Nick and Rand,
Yeah.
and then see how many are left, right?
Mhm.
So we had maybe
I
one,
mean,
two,
sure, Death
three,
Stranding
four,
will be
five, six,
awesome.
7, 8. Say 8 or 9 games. So that
8 with the Rand count, and then 9 if you count Stellar Blade that wasn't on Rand's count.
okay, so there'd be like 9 that we may know about right now,
Yeah.
right? So if those are accurate, then there's no reason to believe they're
Especially
not.
when Nick says
I
Grand was
mean,
just
if they're counting VR games in that list, like obviously Metro's already on the Brand's list. Like if they count VR games in that, like it's how many more can you get? Like 4 more games of VR games. It's
Yeah.
like it's gonna kind of suck.
So
Maybe
they said-
Half-Life Alex
So
finally.
it said 15 plus games, so I'm assuming 16, 17,
Yeah.
maybe. Like maybe they don't count
maybe like a teaser or
maybe
something.
the
It's
plus
like,
is the VR. They don't count VR games as actual games, so like they just don't even count them there. I don't know. So there's 15 plus games, so there could be some surprises. You know, I would hopefully like Helldivers 2 wasn't on there. I would assume that's going to be there, so that I would say that should count for 10 probably. So maybe like 5 other games that we may not know about right now, which would be cool. Maybe some surprises, maybe not. But we'll have to wait and see. It almost seems like I don't know if you guys get this, but I'm sure this was already planned. But it doesn't always seems like whenever like Xbox has like negative news, like PlayStation's like quick to have something.
Mhm.
It's almost
they're like, all right, time to announce.
It's almost
They
like they
used to,
have.
but this is they didn't do it like this past year, but in all previous years, it's like, hey, Xbox has a new game. Hey, we sold this many consoles.
Right.
All right. Hey, we sold, or we have this many players. Hey, we sold this many copies of this particular game, or we have this state of play.
Even if they
coming.
make
It's
up
like,
numbers, like that Spider-Man 2 was so bogus. Like the way they just made up a rule so they can say they broke a record. Like it's pretty funny though.
It's almost like they have shit on standby. Like, oh, negative news week for Xbox. Let's hit the go button. Say to play next week. Let's go. We got it ready. I'm sure that's not what actually happened.
No.
But that would be
No, it's
that
funny
would be
though.
hilarious if that was their MO. Yeah, this is I think probably just from what we know about it, like potentially one of their better shows that we've seen in a while. Like hopefully it will be. Last year sucked ass for all of their shows. Like it was just bad, right? They didn't have any good shows, nothing really exciting at any of their showcases for me, at least. I mean, saw some okay things, but like I think they all kind of just were like, whatever. Especially their summer show, that was just trash, right?
I did forget Silent Hill is going to be there, so I'm pretty excited for.
So I have a question for you guys because I'm confused as fuck about Silent Hill. I just got to admit. Because when they announced all these Silent Hill games, they announced like 4 at once. It seems like. So like, which one is this? Is the Bloober Team one? Is this?
I'm guessing this is the Bloober Team remake of the second one. Yeah. But then they were remaking some of the older ones, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that
I
was
haven't
like
heard
it was like a remake.
That.
There was like like a new game. Then there was like a VR thing or something. I can't remember everything there was, but I remember there was like 3 or 4 Silent Hill things all announced at the same time. So this would probably be the Bloober Team one. I would, like you guys said, and I'm curious to see where they take it because they did the Medium, which is a good game, right? But it didn't like necessarily light the world on fire. People weren't super happy. They do the Layers of Fear games, right? And those have they have kind of a following and a fan base, but again, like not, I wouldn't say they hold a candle to like the IPs of like a Silent Hill or like a Resident Evil and things like that, right? So this is their opportunity to work on a big IP. Not that Silent Hill is as big as Resident Evil, if you just want to be realistic about it, but there is a kind of a clamoring, I think mainly because Kojima was attached to it in the past. I think almost like elevated it to another level where people were really anticipating that, and that thing got canned, and then people were like, we want Silent Hill now, right? And then now it's.
I always thought Silent Hill was
chance.
creepier than Resident Evil. Resident Evil always had this campiness, especially with Resident Evil 4, where he's just like, "Come on, guys," and that sort of creepy, not creepy, but kind of corny sort of writing with some of the Resident Evils. But Silent Hill always had this really darker tone to it. And with Bloober Team, they're just in an interesting position because you could tell the games they wanted to make were pretty much like Silent Hill-esque, especially with the medium. So now that they're getting this chance, they pretty much are just not just remaking, but they have a roadmap of what
Yeah.
was a great title. So now they can just like take those roadmaps, improve it with better technology, and it's in seeing what they did with the medium. I'm sure they could definitely pull it off with Silent Hill. So we'll see. And I see some people like the medium was so bad. I thought it was like a cool concept, whatever, but it did have like a lot of Silent Hill things. Was my point. Like you could not like the medium. I think it had a slow start, whatever. It did pick up like later on. If you guys got that far, but a lot of people didn't, which is fair. This is fair. But I don't know. I think with that team, especially if you play, let's just say you never played the medium, you play like Layers of Fear. They have like some cool elements in some of their games, for sure. So if you didn't like the medium, then maybe try out Layers of Fear. If you don't like Layers of Fear, well then Bluebird Team you're probably not gonna like Silent Hill.
I mean, I feel like those are kind of different games. Layers of Fear was
They
kind
are
of more
pretty
that
fair.
walking,
Medium was the
like
close.
walking simulator thing, and then like yeah.
But if you like
Did y'all
horror, I
play
don't know.
Blair Witch or no?
I play a little bit of Blair Witch. I
Did
forgot
make
they did
that?
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking forward to it.
I don't remember, how did that game do?
I
Was it
don't think it
received
did
pretty-
great.
No, it was okay, but it didn't get the fanfare that I think that they were looking for. And then they also did like a more VR focused version. I think that one may have done better because it was, one of the few decent games for VR on the PS VR1. But yeah, I played it. It was okay. It had some nice mechanics as far as, with the videotapes and recordings and things like that. But it was kind of like that walking sim, but with interaction stuff that
Right.
from the environment. It was all right. There are better horror games, but for like their first or second main start on a IP, yeah, they
Yeah.
they did pretty good.
We'll have to see how Silent Hill does, like, and how it looks, right? But like, are they able to bring that franchise back in a big way and really stand up to the potential hype for that game with the, because I think it's going to be obviously another level for Bluebird Team working on that as opposed to
Yeah,
their
I mean,
last
you could
games, right?
like if you look at their games like kind of in order, you see how like well that studio's growing and like
Yeah.
how they introduce new mechanics and new like
Mhm.
gameplay decisions
They
and stuff.
actually
like,
have really good output for a studio. They like put
Yeah.
out games like pretty
Well,
frequently.
they did like the
Pretty-
first 3 Layers of Fear and like all within like a couple years,
Yeah.
and then they remastered Layers of Fear, all 3 of them, and put it in like one game, called it like the Layers of Fear or something like that. Just,
Yeah,
like,
they did it in UE5, and
Yeah.
it looked incredible, I will say. So like again, a lot of people in the chat are saying like, I don't like medium and stuff like that. I get it, but this time, if you don't like their stories or how their pacing of their games and stuff, again, they have a roadmap in terms of their tech, and then and like their game dev. I think they're pretty
Yeah.
decent. So I don't know. Maybe I just think differently, but I think with Silent Hill 2, you have a very good roadmap for what to do for that game. That
Yeah.
game is like a very great horror game. So
I don't remember what we've seen so far from Judas. I just remember it was Ken Levine's game, and that had me enough to kind of get excited for it. If it's a spiritual successor type game to like a BioShock or whatever, that has me excited to see that as well. But like overall, I think there's reasons to be like more excited for this state of play than we have for the
for a while,
first
yeah.
Sony showcase. I mean, I was kind of, not gonna lie, excited for their summer show last year. I thought they were gonna have a show where they kind of came out and like had that 2016 like PlayStation showcase moment where they really show a lot of their future roadmap, and they just did not do that whatsoever. So in this show, there seems from the games that were special Nick put on Twitter that then was deciphered by Rand and all that stuff on there. Like there seems to be like, okay, a lot of stuff that's coming this year, right? A glimpse at potential 2025 stuff, but then also some stuff that we don't know about from the from the leaks or rumors or whatever. So I'm pumped for it. We'll see what they have. I'm looking for some fun stuff to play on my PlayStation. Helldivers 2 and Rise of the Ronin I am excited for personally, so those I will look forward to as well. But beyond that, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm already kind of sold. Like, I liked part 1, so don't really need to be sold anymore on that. But I'm sure it's probably their biggest game this year that we know of right now. From the third party, it's an exclusive. And I think that'll obviously show well whenever they show it, because anytime they show that, it's like it's a huge excitement level from the fans and stuff. So we'll see. State of Play coming on Wednesday. Again, our co-stream will go live at 4:30 Eastern time, so we'll be bringing it to you here. Anybody from our family is more than welcome, obviously, to join with the co-stream. We'll see what they got. Also, there was some other news today that was kind of on the negative side. Eidos Montreal. Embracer Group hits keep on coming, everybody. They supposedly have canceled the Deus Ex game that they've been working on. And there has been, I think, 97 employees laid off is what I saw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. Did they say official numbers, or is it just what people found out? I don't know.
I don't know if I saw that on I was out all day today, so I was just kind of scrolling through Twitter and seeing things here and there. I didn't have time to really go back and double check on things, but I could have swore I remember seeing something like 90 something employees.
Yeah, it was 90 something.
And then the Deus Ex thing. So, they're not closing, at least as of right now, but that's a studio that kind of hits hard a little bit, because they were one of the two big, or I guess three. There's three parts of it, but this is one of the two main ones. Acquired from Square into Embracer Group, right? And Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and then there was one, I can't remember the third one. But this team was rumored before to have also been working on Fable. That came via stuff on Reddit and stuff like that, and we know Crystal Dynamics is working on Perfect Dark, right? So if that was the case, I would hope that doesn't affect any of the progress there. We don't know if it was ever officially announced or not, of the Eidos Montreal thing with Fable, but if that's the case, I hope it doesn't affect too much there. Crystal Dynamics also, I think, had suffered some layoffs at one point as well. So, man, Eidos Montreal, man, and a Deus Ex game canceled. Man, the Embracer Group. Can somebody please go out and get Crystal? I'm at this point, even if it's not.
Can someone please give them money to save the company? We're losing so many great studios.
Even if it's not Microsoft, like at this point, anybody, like, just please get Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal off their hands. They're like two, like, Eidos Montreal came off the heels of Guardians of the fucking Galaxy, bro. Like, maybe
it's not even just like
it's God.
It's not even just that. They've lost like Volition. They lost like a bunch of THQ people. Yeah. It's just like we're losing so many, like the AA filler throughout the year. It's just like gone.
Yeah, it's crazy because for the most part, when Embracer like acquired them, like, oh, they're this massive, corporation. They could probably, sustain a company like this, and no, it's going very badly. If anything, like, I did not like Square Enix having them, just because Square Enix doesn't know what they have until it's gone. It seems like half the time, but I just want, same with you guys. I want someone to have them. Microsoft is obviously the best candidate. I just don't know where Microsoft's head is right now. I think they're just full in on Activision, probably. I do know they want to acquire other studios, and they said they would, but I don't know. Do you guys think they would acquire them anytime soon? It just seems like because of Activision, that slowed down any acquiring of other studios, so they have to be a lot more strategic about what studio they want to buy, because that was a huge purchase. So any other purchase, they know they're just being very everybody's eyes are on Microsoft. Like, what are they buying next? So like, oh, is this going to be a monopoly? And, things like that that they have to deal with. But it's a shame that a lot of these studios are like either dying out or a lot of these devs are leaving, getting fired, etc. And I feel like there's it's such a talented studio. It'll be such a shame if like most of the staff of Crystal Dynamics leaves, because or any other studio like that, for example. But we'll see. I really hope. Same with you guys. I really hope that someone jumps in. It doesn't even have to be Microsoft at this point. That's just such a talented studio. It'd just be a shame, at this point.
I mean, it seems like every week or like there's a new studio impacted from Embracer Group, right? Like over the last couple months. And it's getting worse. First off, it was like some of the studios that we didn't really know too much of or care too much about, or that hadn't had like more recent successes and stuff like that, but then you see Eidos Montreal, and I think it hits a little different with that one, right? Because they have a long ass history and they've done so many great things, and they have the ability to make fantastic games, right? Guardians of the Galaxy, I remember not being excited for it because we were coming off the heels of Avengers, and I didn't think it really showed well at that Square conference that they had. But then, it came out, and people were like, "This is actually really good." Then I got it. I actually have a poster of the fucking game right there, like on my wall. Like, it's such a great game. And that team is now a fraction of what it was after the Embracer Group got their hands on them and is not able to sustain their business. So I'm just like anybody. I'm pleading to the big platform holders, other publishers, to come on, somebody come out there and throw Embracer Group a bone to get some of these world-class type devs some help, because it sucks ass when the studios like that are affected that much.
I think like the positive with this though is like, if you're an Xbox consumer, I'm going to kind of spin this a little bit, but like if you're an Xbox consumer, you're not really going to feel the hits, because these hits that from all these layoffs would be impacting like kind of the start of next generation. And since Xbox has been building their studios to like 40 plus now, like Xbox is going to be covered throughout that transition into next gen. So they're not going to have to rely on these double A games and third party games. Xbox has kind of built their own nest. So that, I guess that's the positive side of it, is
they kind of had to, right?
Yeah.
PlayStation sort of forced them in that bubble where they kept just making these deals, kind of pushing Microsoft out. And I mean, the most fascinating thing about the case to me was when Activision Blizzard considered not even dropping Call of Duty on Xbox just because of PlayStation's dominant. Like, I can't even imagine that world where Call of Duty is just like exclusive just because of how powerful PlayStation's market dominance was, just for simply existing and having that audience. But the tables have definitely turned, and now they're in a position, or Microsoft is in a position where they have so many studios, and like Jasper said, totally right. They can kind of they're pretty much covered for a while, which is pretty good. They don't really have to rely on third party, but it was a smart strategy to basically make it so you have so many first party studios to shift to your position where you don't have to rely on third party if you don't need to.
Yeah, I wonder with Fable, like if they were working on it, what they were doing.
Well, not confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I wonder if they were like how involved with it they would have been, because there was very strong stuff out there, right? It wasn't like a formal announcement like they made Perfect Dark or anything like that, but there's enough smoke out there to think that they were definitely helping on Fable in somewhat. So maybe that's, if they are still doing that, maybe that's the bulk of who's left there. Don't know.
Probably because Microsoft, I think because of some of the other contract deals that they've had with like the ones for Killer Instinct and even for Crackdown, they've started putting stuff in the contract. Like if something is to come up for sale or something like that, that they get like first right of refusal or at least to be able to bid. Now I'm wondering, and it's hard to say considering because it seems like since the game was canceled and probably the staff that was working on, another Deus Ex were probably the ones affected the most. Probably the only ones left are the ones that are working on Fable at this point, or a good chunk of the ones that remain were probably Fable, and then other whatever other projects that they may be assisting on and stuff like that. But I would hope Microsoft is definitely gotten smarter over the years as far as contracts are concerned whenever they hire these teams. But we'll see. But like on the flip side of things, I look at PlayStation like they got to be either the slowest bunch right now since they're in somewhat of a disarray, or they just don't listen to their fans for whatever reason. Like everybody keeps on asking for SOCOM, and whether you can get licensing or not to make a game somewhat like a SOCOM. Embracer had one of the best, well, I wouldn't say one of the best studios, but they had a studio that would be a good fit that they just closed that they could have probably bought for pennies on the dollar. Like, probably wouldn't even have cost them, anything more than like maybe seven figures, to be honest. And they could have got NWI, which did Insurgency Sandstorm. And some of their modes kind of fit with what a SOCOM would be, albeit that they focused on first person perspective as opposed to third person, but there are mods out there so you can play in third person. So it shouldn't be that big of a, or, undertaking to go ahead and do that changeover and stuff. But, I don't know why Sony isn't picking up some of these IPs and
that's what I was
then
gonna
again,
say.
they
Is
have
like,
tons of IPs.
I think Sony right now, like, they're just overall kind of management and like stuff is kind of like disarray where like Jim Ryan's leaving, they're replacing a manager, he's going to be there for short term. Like their overall like corporate structure at PlayStation is kind of in a mess right now. So there's like they don't know where to invest because they don't have that management like foresight because they're just going to get replaced. But Sony needs to invest. They've been kind of behind on that. They just backed out of a $10 billion deal like on the actual Sony side. So they're going to have a little bit of income to be spinning around. Like maybe look over to
if
PlayStation.
they don't get major fines from that 10 billion. You can't.
Yeah,
just
they're gonna have to pay
out
like a couple hundred million or whatever backing out. But it's like still, it's just like give it to PlayStation maybe, like get them to invest. But at the same time, like I don't know if Sony wants to invest in PlayStation because their game sales are down. Like why are we going to pick up fucking game studios if all our shit doesn't sell? So it's like,
The industry is a
lower
really
your
weird
budget.
place. It literally went from like massive acquisition phase and massive growth phase to all of a sudden like massive contraction phase. Just like one big up and down swell, like within the matter of months it seemed like. So
like and it's tough because like Microsoft has the money to invest, but at the same time it's like, well, we just got ABK, like we don't want to fucking take anyone else on because we're doing this shit. So it's like, there's only a few companies that out there that can invest right now that are financially stable too, and it's like I don't know.
Some of the Japanese publishers are doing fantastic, like
that's like the few that could. Like EA doesn't want to buy anyone; they want to sell themselves. So it's like,
literally,
freaking Power World just eating popcorn. Like what?
EA was like had been actively seeking like a merger partner for a long time, but they had such demanding stipulations on it that like it was hard for them to find a match, right? Then you had Square seems to be whoring themselves out trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do. Like you don't know what's going on right now with some of the companies, but Take-Two is probably in somewhat of an acquisition phase still. If you look into previous quotes from their CEO and stuff like that, so. Strauss Zelnick, I think, has mentioned that a couple times.
And that's the thing I think with like Western studios, they all want fucking mobile studios now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they want the ability to do both. I think also, like they're looking for like the ability to kind of like create that ecosystem of IPs. Like even the WB news that came the other day we talked about was really touching on, the mobile side as well, that, when they're talking about growing some of their IPs there. So yeah, it's interesting what's going on, but like it sucks when it's one of these studios. Now, obviously last week we got 1,900 employees from Microsoft got laid off, and you had several big studios impacted, but you're talking about a lot of the studios with like large sizes, and some of the studios that were affected from Activision, even though we're familiar with their names and have a history, they all had been working on only Call of Duty for a long time, right? So we don't really know what they're doing, but maybe they're going to start rebuilding new teams and things to work on different games going forward, right? Blizzard had some layoffs and all these different kinds of things. We're talking about like large games as a service type things and all these kind of stuff. So like, besides the one survival game that was obviously canceled, that was where we see the biggest impact from that one. But this is like equally for me, like Deus Ex, a new one, like just getting canceled. That just kind of sucks, and that makes me worried about the Tomb Raider deal that they have going forward as well. But I think because Amazon's involved with that one, hopefully they can't cancel that one. I'm hoping we'll find out.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff going on there. But besides that,
I just wanted to reply to Mash because he was saying
Yeah.
like that people who also don't understand corps think Microsoft needs to make their money back on ABK. That's not how it works. You need them to have a positive operating budget and grow quarterly for dividends. And then he said, "You don't have to make your 70 billion back.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like they spent $70 billion in cash and they're out their money, and now there's like, oh, we're $70 billion short. We need to get that money. Yeah, they're investing in an asset. It's like it would be like buying a house, right, or something like, or you're actually buying a. Let's say if I went down the street and bought a business, you're buying a business to make money, right? Like you're acquiring them as part of your assets, and
it's also a long-term
it's an
investment
asset
too. Like
it's an asset. It's different than like buying toilet paper, right? It's like you know what I mean. It's
people
like,
think you need their ROI.
One-time use.
Right. You're not getting a return on it. Well, maybe you're getting a little bit of a return on investment on toilet. You know what I mean? Like you're not. It's not an investment. It's that's something you literally put it down the toilet.
They're the richest company in the world. They're
money going
$1 trillion.
Yeah,
it's just like
if you bought Cottonelle, the company, though, that's a different story, right? You're making lots of money then. That's an asset.
Yeah. Like Candy Crush alone makes like what 1 billion something, and that's just a mobile game. So I mean, they'll be fine. We don't have to worry about their financials. I don't think like this one thing I feel like a lot of Sony people do is they focus on Sony's financials. Like, look how much money they made on Spider-Man, and like look at all the sales and stuff. And I love that. I kind of love that stuff because I like diving into the gaming industry as a whole. So I'm not gonna be like, I don't like talking about that stuff. But when you look at where Microsoft is as a company and what they're investing in and what they're getting back, it's like they're playing very strategic with a lot of their studios and what like the mobile sector and investing in stuff like Game Pass where they're getting recurring revenue. That's something we kind of talk about in the show sometimes, like that recurring revenue of really focusing in on your ecosystem is more beneficial, or having multiplayer titles where you really are focusing on people coming back, and that can be way more beneficial than just hardware sales and then just software sales. Like, wow, Spider-Man sold how many copies and they barely made a profit. There's one thing. It's just different strategies. I don't think there's a wrong or right way. Sony has been this way for a while. I feel like it does have a lot to do with their company ethos was like originally starting with Sony and being a Japanese company, and Japanese companies really do focus in on those hardware type sales. But Microsoft is definitely playing a different ball game. I don't think there's a wrong or right way. I just think Microsoft is doing it in a way that could be possibly better. I think it's better, but I'm not a financial expert, which is why I'm saying probably. But in terms of like where Microsoft is getting more money, I don't think anybody has to worry about how much money Microsoft is making or getting their money back for ABK, especially when you just look at each franchise that they just bought and how much money they're getting per franchise. Like Call of Duty alone, most sold game every single year. Candy Crush is like one of those games that doesn't appear always on the MPD, but it should.
Well,
Just
it's
because
free,
of
so
it's free, so yeah, I guess it won't, but it makes billion, like something almost 2
yeah,
billion per year.
you just have to look at the financials when they have it. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people that have Candy Crush on their phones. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I make sure I always uninstall that shit when it's pre-installed. I'm like, get this the fuck off my computer, my phone. I don't want this.
Yeah, it's
Come
ridiculous.
into an Xbox near you.
Web Dave, member for 5 months, using his membership message, said, "Everyone hit the like button." Mad Fuzzy 3-bit Jasper Fire. Appreciate you, Dave. Yeah, if you do like the content here, hit the like button, share it out, sub, notification bell, all that kind of cool stuff. It greatly helps people find us, helps us grow, and just appreciate you being here. But let's get into the other move that was made today. We were talking about Blizzard and ABK and all that kind of stuff, right? But a big part of it is the Blizzard side, which today we have news, like we alluded to last week at the layoffs. Matt Booty had said that next week the new president of Blizzard would be announced. And it is a move from the Activision side. They've moved the general manager of Call of Duty over to become the president of Blizzard. And her name is Johanna Faries. Faries. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce the last name, but it's Johanna Faries, is a former Call of Duty and NFL executive. So I'm going to Bloomberg's site just to kind of let everybody know who she is. So it says, video game developer Blizzard Entertainment has appointed Johanna Faries as its next president, the first new leader of the studio since Microsoft Corp purchased its parent company, Activision Blizzard Inc., for $69 billion. Now, this obviously comes out in the heels of the surprise departure from Mike Ibarra. Faries, previously general manager for the Call of Duty franchise at Activision. And if you've watched like some of their Call of Duty announcements and stuff like that in the past, you will recognize her from doing presentations from at the Call of Duty announcements. She will succeed Mike Ibarra, who left the company last week amid mass layoffs. Faries started at Activision in 2018, so she's been there a little over 5 years, as head of Call of Duty esports. She previously spent nearly 12 years working at the National Football League. The appointment of an Activision executive as Blizzard's chief may come as a surprise to many employees. Before the acquisition, the maker of World of Warcraft had faced significant tensions with Activision executives over the length of time it took to develop games, among other issues. Former Activision Chief Executive Officer Bobby Kotick had pushed Blizzard to be more predictable in the mode of the Call of Duty franchise, which releases a new version of the series every fall. Faries appeared to acknowledge this conflict in a note to staff on Monday, writing that Activision, Blizzard, and King are decidedly different companies with distinct games, cultures, and communities. It is important to note that Call of Duty's way of waking up in the morning to deliver for players can often differ from the stunning games in Blizzard's realm, each with different gameplay experiences, communities that surround them, and requisite models of success, Faries wrote. I've discussed this with the Blizzard leadership team, and I'm walking into this role with sensitivity to those dynamics and deep respect for Blizzard as we begin to explore taking our universes to even higher heights. The appointment comes as Xbox chief Phil Spencer and his president for game studios, Matt Booty, overhaul management at Activision in an attempt to stabilize game franchises and boost revenue at the acquired company. Since the pandemic boom has petered out, Microsoft's own game business has faced slower growth or sales declines. On Tuesday, the company will report earnings for its fiscal second quarter, the first time it will integrate Activision's sales into its results. So this is interesting because it is from somebody from the Activision side, but they are coming in as a Blizzard president. It's not Activision taking control of Blizzard, even more so than they had in the past, as some people have tried to make this out to be in the community. But it's somebody I think that they felt like they had confidence in, from business perspective or from the way that they handle multiple studios or in a large franchise. Let's say, let's put this person in charge of Blizzard and put this person over multiple franchises and multiple different studios. And I think that they think that she would be good for this role. So I can't say I'm like too familiar with the person or whatever. I've just seen her on some of the Call of Duty stuff. She does a good job like presenting stuff, right? Overall. So that may be part of it as well. And ultimately it seems like this is the person that they thought was a good fit. I would say that like the stuff with like Activision trying to like force Blizzard to do certain things, this wouldn't have been her in the past because she was just in charge of Call of Duty. Like it wouldn't be her job on the board of directors or something to try and force Blizzard to do stuff they didn't want to do. So this would be not like something that would have been her role in the past. Instead, she was laser focused on Call of Duty. For what it's worth, I think a lot of people either say she did a great job under it or not. I don't know, but Call of Duty has been as successful as it ever has been the last several years. And now we get to see that carry forward into Blizzard's side. So Micah Barr is out. Joanna is in. We'll see how she does.
We'll see. I see some people in chat says she worked for the NFL. Arthur once said, "Yeah, she's a suit."
Yeah, but she's
if you
also
work
a
for the
gamer as well. I did check out her Twitter.
She made in her like post today, her official post. She said
Yeah.
she like really likes playing Diablo 4 or whatever. So
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. And I was asking you guys this earlier in the chat because I've gotten some messages from some employees that say Mike Ibarra could have possibly been a part of that toxic work culture, which surprised me, and that's why I was asking you guys, like, what do you know about Mike Ibarra? Because I don't know much about him, honestly, but I've gotten a couple messages saying that he was possibly a part of that toxic work culture as well. So that could be a part of the reason.
Messages from? Are you talking about just
From
people?
employees?
Okay, like just some of your friends or whatever.
Yeah. So
we've seen some. There's been some stuff on Twitter. Like there was one inXile dev that had said that used to work for Blizzard. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but
no, I haven't seen any.
Yeah. So
Twitter message on
yeah,
that.
this is there was an inXile dev that used to work for Blizzard, and they said that Mike Ibarra was part of the problem since had deleted that tweet. His main contention with Ibarra was him feeling like he had to leave Blizzard because of the return to work orders, the return to office orders that Ibarra was very persistent on and not really lenient or lax on or whatever. And it forced him to find a different job, which he's working at inXile now, right? So you can make of that what you want. I think the return to office thing, like that's kind of there's some people that feel like it's better, and some people that feel like it's not. But I do think when they had all the massive hirings during COVID and the pandemic times, there's obviously a lot more work from home. So inevitably, when things started going back to normal, there was going to be a little bit of a transition that was going to be kind of complicated for some people, right?
Right.
And as much
also,
as
when you're a $70 billion company, it's like they gotta. It's their decision at the end of the day. It's like
this was Blizzard before, right? But like they had made that decision that they worked better for their operations and their offices and stuff like that. So I wouldn't put that all on Ibarra. Like although
he only has so much power under that too. It's like
but maybe
but the reason why I asked that is just because not only do I not know much about Ibarra, I also just think about when Phil was on the stage and then with Yabara when the acquisition first went through, and it was like a big moment to have like Yabara finally back
Yeah.
underneath the Microsoft umbrella, and Pong was kind of talking about it, like, they're finally together again. This could be a good thing, or I don't know. But the new person, I mean, if she did Call of Duty and NFL, she definitely is a suit, so
Yeah.
she knows how to work those financials. So we'll see what that means. If she's a gamer, that's always a plus. That means you can understand from a little bit of the developer point of view, mostly the gamer view of like what people want to see out of Blizzard and the rest of the company. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But if all those stuff was true, that I never said like Yamara's
Yeah.
toxic, whatever. I was just stuff
Well,
I've been hearing.
we don't know.
But
There's
well,
been
we don't
some
know.
there's been some rumblings about that. So
Okay.
Let's put it this way. What did I say before when they announced that they were acquiring ABK? I
That-
was like,
put in
oh,
somebody's
Bobby's
back.
going, but I bet you Ibarra is out the door before Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were the
I
few
was wrong on the timing,
people.
but I
Yeah.
knew he was gone.
Yeah.
Mm,
That there
Okay.
okay, so what I'm gathering has happened, right? So I think Ibarra just had some not good vibes with maybe Matt Booty and Phil Spencer and stuff like that, right? Don't know 100%, but Mike Ibarra had just said, like, was in December, like, you're gonna have to drag me out of Blizzard. I love Blizzard so much, or whatever. And then literally, I'm leaving Blizzard, right?
Mhm.
And then this month,
Yeah.
just a month later, and then he had Matt Booty put out that we had a talk about his future, kind of thing, right? Now, remember before all the things about Ibarra in the past about maybe feeling jaded or things like that as well.
Mhm.
I feel like Ibarra for running a business and it does a pretty good job, right? I think he's solid within that. I think he was probably did a decent job at Blizzard overall from the business side. The human side and the employee side, I don't know, right? Like, but there has been more rumblings come out, like that one in Exile dev. I guess 3-bit you had some messages put out there. Schreier had alluded to some of the stuff as well in his post about when Ibarra was leaving because things may have not gone over well with some of the meetings that he had with employees and stuff like that in
Blocked
the
by
past.
Shire. So
Yeah, there was multiple things that have kind of started to kind of come out about Ibarra a little bit.
And it may not even be like Ybarra necessarily. Like since he was the face and like the overall head of this, like the Blizzard side, like maybe he just gets the heat because he has to make these tough decisions, and it's like it's not really his decision at the end of the day. It was like maybe Activision's decision or their
Right.
investors' decisions to make these.
Right.
Yeah.
Things like Crunch, yes. Like it's not necessarily his call, but he's of the Crunch culture, and Xbox
He's
is
kinda
trying, or
old school.
Microsoft is trying to get away
Yeah.
from that. Yeah. So that it gets left on his back. But the pay, equal pay stuff, that's something that you can be like, hey, I have so many years and I'm qualified and this is what they pay me, and I don't think it needs to change. You can have that attitude, but you may not want to put that out on the socials kind of thing.
Right.
Because if the other person has just as much time in game development, if not more so hands-on game development than he has, he's more of like the back end stuff.
Yeah.
You can't
And
not.
what you're referring to, just to be clear, is when when the former leadership of Blizzard was resigned, right?
Mhm.
He and another, I can't remember her name, were both named
Yeah.
co-presidents of Blizzard, right? But he was making more money and she was upset about that. Then later she resigned because of it
Yeah.
as well, right? Because they had literally the same role, right? And
Same responsibilities.
right,
Yeah.
that he was making significantly more. And he had only been with Blizzard for like short period of time, very short period
It
of time.
was less.
Yeah.
It was less than 5 years. It was like 2 years at that point and some change. And I think she was with Blizzard or with the organization for at least 12 to 15. So it is what it is.
But I mean, that's like the same, like everything. Like fucking quarterbacks, like they play the same fucking position on the same team, but they get fucking paid a different amount. Like it's like
true. But if you're both going to lead and so supposedly share the responsibility, that's where it's like, okay, they should probably either pay up or, freeze his pay kind of thing at that point. But it's one of those tight things to navigate. But then when you're that face and your staff sees that face for what it is, it makes them feel a certain way. And just when he was like dropping hints about Odyssey, it was the return to work or return to office, crunch culture stuff that he was adamant about. And there was a few other things where there were some managerial and HR concerns, and not that he did a complete Bobby Kotick ignoring of them, but he brushed some of those off as well. So he was a company man, but old school style company man. And if they're in the process of change and they're getting ready to have a company that's more progressive take them over, then yeah, you're not going to fit the new mold. And he should have probably known that from the announcement that maybe he should have started walking some stuff back. But
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I would say anytime you're on your last days of being with a company and you use their competitors' services and play their competitors' games publicly, I mean, you're free to do that. But when you're also in the position that he was, that sends a message to the leadership that it's like, F you, I do what I want kind of thing, which some people do and there's no repercussions. Other places, especially when it's a public facing company, it's going to follow you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get forgotten. It doesn't get forgiven. It's in you. It's not in your file, but it's in your management and upper executives' memory, and they'll remember that. So
Yeah. I
it
kind
is what
of
it is.
I kind of
It's like a
agree.
Telltale game. I remember.
The quarterback analogy, Jasper.
I mean, that's fine, whatever. But even like every fucking company, like
Yeah.
you can get hired on like a year later, and you'll make more than someone who's like hired on like a year before, just because of like fucking the way shit in the economy works. Like
Yeah.
every fucking job is like this. Even if you have the same job, every fucking company, someone's getting paid a little more, someone's getting paid a little less. That's how every fucking job works.
Not true. Every job in the private sector, possible, yes. Government, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't a government
Government is
job
very,
by any means.
very
But
regulated.
government is all about scale, regardless of what race,
Yeah.
color, creed, sexual orientation, all that. You get a certain pay grade, that's it. And more companies are starting to move towards that, but Blizzard and Activision were more of the old school and they were fighting any movement towards that. Microsoft is leaning more into that. So it was always going to be a butting of heads, but
Yeah. I don't
it
know.
works for Microsoft. They're $1 trillion
Yeah.
company, so we'll see how it pans out. in the
I
end,
don't
but-
know enough
Yeah,
about
that's right.
the situation there between the different like tenures and all these different ins and outs. There's probably a million ins and outs you can go into with whatever
Mhm.
reason somebody makes more than somebody else, right? But I'm just remember that was a thing. You know what I
It's
mean?
usually like politics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's just, it is what it is. I
Yeah.
experience it in my workplace. I'm sure other people experience
Yeah.
it where one person's just like a little bit friendlier to the boss, or even if you
Yeah.
do the same job.
Somebody may be willing to play more of the political game within the office than somebody else
Yeah.
is, right? And like I don't know again what happened there, but it was a big deal when it happened, right? Like as far as like news and like getting out there. Now a lot was going on with Blizzard at the time as well, so that it kind of just adding to that. You're talking about a time when there was actually like protest outside of their offices, walkouts, all these
Forgot
kind of
about that.
things going on within Blizzard at the same time span. And Mike Ibarra was there, through a lot of that stuff, right? So, I don't know exactly if he helped or if he hurt, but no longer will we even care because there's going to be somebody else in charge, and it is a female. So for whatever it's worth, if that was the issue before or whatever, like this is not an issue now for anybody that's thinking, because there's one president of Blizzard now, and it's Johanna Faries or Fairies. Now, getting back into her information, right? She says, "Hi all. Today I sent the below note to Blizzard Entertainment. As for X, I play to stay in listen mode here, but trust I'm tuned in. As for me, a typical day, work life, plus yogi life, plus games life. Currently on heavy rotation, Diablo 4, Call of Duty, and Baldur's Gate 3. Feeling blessed and grateful. Onward." So like she does play games. I don't know if she's just saying that to like I'm a gamer too, but like she I have no reason to doubt that she actually does play or whatever. I want to read kind of her note to the Blizzard employees so we can kind of get a grasp of what she's trying to tell people, right? It says, "Dear Blizzard, though my official first day with you all is February 5th, I want to let you know immediately that it is an honor to join you next week in this new capacity. I do so humbly and in awe of all that Blizzard has stood for and delivered to the world for over 30 years. Today also brings some mixed emotions. The loss of talented teammates in recent days is hard to hold side by side with this immense excitement I feel about joining Blizzard and building on the momentum you've created for Blizzard's next chapter. I want to thank Matt for the introduction, bring some further clarity to today's announcement, and share more about how I see our future together at Blizzard. I understand this is a lot to take in. The news of my appointment may no doubt bring up a range of reactions, questions, even concerns. Activision, Blizzard, and King are decidedly different companies with distinct games, cultures, and communities. It is important to note that Call of Duty's way of waking up in the morning to deliver for players can often differ from the stunning games in Blizzard's realm, each with different gameplay experiences, communities that surround them, and requisite models of success. I've discussed with the Blizzard leadership team, and I'm walking into this role with sensitivity to those dynamics and deep respect for Blizzard as we begin to explore taking our universes to even higher heights. I am committed to doing everything I can to help Blizzard thrive, with care and consideration for you and for our games, each unique and special in their own right. I'm optimistic about our ability to serve our current and future player communities, and to further amplify the shared passion for greatness, polish, and creative mastery that is a hallmark of Blizzard's approach to game making. Next week, I will be in Irvine, and I'm eager to connect with as many of you as possible. I will be scheduling informal and totally optional meet and greets where I want to hear more from people across the organization. Those of you who cannot make it to those gatherings or aren't located in Irvine, please feel free to email me. We are also planning a town hall meeting to be held in the near future. A few personal facts about me. My number one job in life is raising two amazing boys. In addition to parenthood, a typical week for me includes finding time for my daily yoga and prayer, and of course, playing video games. Big Diablo 4 fan over here. Throughout, the joy I find in games and working with those who make them only deepens. I remain inspired in Blizzard's iconic legacy and the transformative role gaming has played in my life and in the lives of others. I cannot wait to get going, to listen, to learn, to empower, and to collaborate with all of you on our bold and bright future together. Together, may we forge many legendary days ahead. Again, I feel like trying to make sure that they understand that she's not trying to import the Call of Duty business model and way of doing things on all of Blizzard, right? I think is kind of really the core focus of that. Seeing how there's such dramatic change in such a short time at Blizzard, you could imagine that a lot of employees may be like, what the heck's going on now? We just got acquired, and now all these people got laid off, and now we have a new president. But I think ultimately the job forward for her will be to create some morale, instill some confidence and excitement for the games and the studios, right? So we'll see.
Work on something besides COD, maybe for these other studios. Like I don't think that'll happen because
this is Blizzard, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's leaving. I mean, I do think it's interesting that she's leaving as general manager of Call of Duty. Now somebody else is appointed. Whoever was
who's doing COD? No, I guess all Matt Booty.
They announced that today too.
Yeah.
But I forgot who it was.
It was the person that was under her. It's a guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I could look it up, but it was whoever was under her before is just promoted up, right? So the person that was under her is taking over her role, and she's moving over to Blizzard, right? So that's I do find it interesting there, like again, that like moving the general manager from Call of Duty away from Call of Duty to be the Blizzard president, like the Call of Duty is an established thing, right? But also with some of the other layoffs and stuff, I kind of always go back to Phil Spencer and like going around to see what these studios want to make, and wondering if all of this new restructuring and transition stuff is all going to be potential lead up to other projects getting started.
That's
right?
what I'm like kind of wondering, is just like how much of a role does she actually play within like Xbox's overall like creative vision for the studios, and like when they can like break these studios up and be like, well, we want to make this game, but they've always been told, no, you have to make fucking WoW content for 15 years. It's like, when do they actually get that opportunity to be like, hey, can we start it? The five of us, we've been working on this small little indie thing over here, like on the side. Can we like pitch this to you? Like, when does that stuff actually like get brought up, or if it gets to get brought up now? Like, I don't know.
We saw recently, what was it? Was it High Moon or Toys for Bob? One of them was they were doing presentation, like like little demo presentations of stuff, in their studio. I feel like that is something that probably is already kind of starting to be looked at about some of these things, but like it's still early on in the process of it, right? Like from other things we've learned in the past, even from leaks that have come out from other studios, even Insomniac, right? How many different projects were they like prototyping? There was like, from those leaks, there was like a ton of different projects that they whittled down and narrowed down to possibilities and all these kind of things, right? Like maybe some of these studios might have somewhat of a similar process. Maybe some of them don't. Maybe some of them already kind of have known what they want to work on.
But that was the thing with like ABK, is like they were always shut down because
Activision,
the investors were like, you gotta we gotta make Call of Duty. You can't make anything else.
That's where the difference is. I think this time they may get the green light. They get the green light on those, but like, what do they do? Do they already say, well, we've had this idea, it got shut down before, or like, hey, we're in the process of starting some new prototypes and ideas, right? And maybe it's going to differ for every studio, and maybe
that's really why they have to clean house, because of that old management was back. That is still there, that would deny that idea, and they're still in the mentality of make money when Microsoft is now acquiring them. I feel like they would probably have to clean house a little bit with that management to fully become a new studio where they embrace a new DNA, which is to try different things. I think a lot of the old DNA within Activision, it will take some time to break that, because it's still a money-making machine. So that's why I say it's probably take years, because games, for one, take a long time. So let's say they do approve an idea, let's say like a year from now, you're still looking at like a 2 to 3 year dev cycle from that. So it could be some time.
Their current projects out of the way too.
And plus whatever they're currently working on. I know they canceled the Blizzard survival project, but we heard from some LinkedIn posts that there could be 2 other fantasy projects that they're working on. One fantasy project was probably that survival game, but if there's another one, that could be interesting. But yeah, basically flushing out that old DNA where it's like, it's okay to do this. So like, yeah, that's gonna take some time for a lot of these management to realize, like, we're underneath $1 trillion company. That takes some time to kind of
at some of these other studios. Like a lot of the people that may work at them now never worked on a project other than Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like they had ramped up some of the studios that had become support studios for COD, and like I'm sure there's a lot of vets there still too. But a lot of maybe the hirings the last couple of years, like they just worked on COD. Like, oh, Toys for Bob. Oh, we're a COD support studio. Oh, cool. I get to go work on Call of Duty. High Moon. Oh yeah. Oh, why is there Transformers stuff everywhere in here? I don't know. We just work on Call of Duty. Why is there all this Transformers stuff? You know,
Get out of here.
I don't. What is this stuff? I don't even know why. What, you know, like maybe some of that, but I feel like there's vets, but there's a lot of these people that are probably just were hired to work on Call of Duty, and you know, maybe that's where some of the layoffs happen too. Don't know.
It could be, and I do hope that a lot of those studios go back to what they're good at, rather than Call of Duty. I do understand that it's hard to make a game like Call of Duty. A lot of people have tried and failed. That's why they have so many developers working on a game like Call of Duty. How many Halo killers?
I mean,
and
especially
Call of
for
Duty
the yearly cycle is what other
Yeah,
studios can't compete with.
Yeah,
right. It's just
yeah.
you got to
So-
have so much, you know, to be
Yeah.
able to do that at that
Yeah.
that level.
And you don't want to mess with that formula. That's money. That's something I'm sure Microsoft doesn't want to mess with. But at the same time, a lot of those studios, they have their own things that they used to be working on, like Crash Bandicoot and some other stuff that we talked about, like the Transformers games and stuff. It could be cool to revisit some of those as a side project. But
Yeah.
I do know they are a Call of Duty machine, most of those studios now.
So let's move on to another thing here. There's a game that has hit early access today on consoles, and it will be hitting early access tomorrow on PC as well. And that game is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Now, it's been interesting because I myself have had my own journey of ups and downs with excitement for this game, right? Like, like many people, when Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League was announced, I was like, okay, cool, like, and then I was like, I wish it was like an Arkham game or like something else. However, I was still like, okay, cool, like Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League could be awesome. That's great. It looks crazy. Then when they had the big gameplay reveal, this was like their own scheduled thing, and a lot of people were excited to see it and stuff. And this is where I was like, oh, you know, I kind of got down because it just was not. It didn't have any of the vibe or tone from Rocksteady that I had been missing for so many years now. Because like Arkham Knight came out like what 2016 maybe or 17. I don't remember. It's been a long time. So we've been without a Rocksteady game for forever. So when they finally showed the gameplay, I was like, oh, that's not really what I wanted from Rocksteady, right? But even then, I was like, I'm sure it's going to be quality and I'm sure it's going to be fun because it's a Rocksteady game. It's just not what I was personally looking for, right, from them. And I feel like there was a hole in the industry that I feel like will still be there, right? So I'm still missing that, right? But as we saw more and more about this game leading up over the last couple months, I'm starting to get more excited for it because it's a looter shooter. It looks like it's well made. It looks fun. It's still a superhero IP DC stuff, which I'm super into. So like, there's a lot of positives. The game previews from when it hit with the insider play test and stuff. Like Steel and Pong had played it and stuff, and like we're both like, this is really fun. It's awesome. It's super polished. Like all these things. Like, okay, yeah, this looks Rocksteady. They're talking about how good it is. Then they showed some of the story trailers and some of the clips from there, and I get even more excited. So I'm all in on this game, and I have it pre-ordered, and I'm going to be playing it tomorrow, right, on PC. So, but it seems like where I've had my roller coaster ride, and I'm more on the upswing, and have been for a long time. It seems like some large games media just haven't been able to get over the fact that this isn't a story-based typical Arkham game, and this is a games of service game, and have decided because of this to just outright keep punishing this game and not even give it a damn chance whatsoever, right? Namely IGN.
Too much speed.
Right. IGN got their hands-on preview, which was when I think it was in a closed beta not too long ago.
Yeah,
and it was under embargo.
They flew out a bunch of like influencers in the media to the actual WB Studios to play the game too. So
yeah, so IGN came out with a preview that was like, we don't like this game pretty much. You know, they just said we played it, we don't like it. Never see that from them hardly ever on any previews that they've gotten hands on before, right? Like it caught me by surprise seeing a high profile game like this with that kind of headline from IGN on a preview. Usually, even like they're more like our thoughts on, you know what I mean, and then maybe they kind of give their thoughts in the article. But the headline is like, we played it and we didn't like it. I was like, whoa, they're like coming after this game. Since then, we've seen numerous things come out. Now, what happened after that? WB decided to, hey, let's just lift the embargo from the community so that we can drown out this IGN stuff and the games media stuff and get some other people to actually say how they think. And then you saw some mixed, right? But there's a lot more positive there as well, right? People coming out and saying, oh, we like this. You saw some streamers talk about it. They really dug it. Then you had them double down talking about the plans for the game in the future with the year full of content and everything they have planned with the roadmap. And there's even generated some more excitement. But yet, IGN and some other games media just seems outright committed to try and make this game fail. As much so as they made sure to let
as much as they hate it.
Yeah, they keep talking about
it. They really want to play it.
Yeah. As much so as to let everybody know the other day that they didn't get a code. Hey, just letting everybody know that we don't have...
Destin's a big part of this too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that.
I have word for
we didn't get a early access code. We are not even going to get a code. Just have to let everybody know. What people say they're not whining. Why are you even telling anybody? You just go fucking buy the game like anybody else.
Well, it's going to hurt the consumers if we don't get our opinion out.
Now I gotta say this. Nobody out there had gotten like early like review codes to where they could review the game early, right? This is a games of service.
The only
game.
people that got it early was people that had like illegal copies that were like sold at like a retail store when it should have been, or like they got it. They knew it. Yeah. They knew a dude that had it. Like,
there's outlets that got codes, right? But those codes aren't available till today, right? To be used until today, right? So overall, it seems like WB Games gave the middle finger to IGN. IGN didn't like it. Put it out there that they didn't get a code. They're not getting a code, and then proceeded to tell everybody, "We'll see how this game goes." Right? Shout out to Destin Legary, making sure that they let everybody know that this is not a good sign with games. Right? If they slight IGN, it usually means that the game is lacking confidence or whatever. I'll just say that the only thing I think they lack confidence in is IGN's ability to not give an agenda-based feedback and preview and review of this game. And I completely agree with WB Games that, and I have no confidence in IGN as games media and actually respecting what the actual gamers and consumers are interested in, as opposed to what they think the consumers and customers should be interested in, right? They are trying to portray the game as something that is a negative out there, and they keep doing it in numerous tweets. Oh, eBay has a sale already on IGN is reporting on eBay. Really?
Failed to mention eBay. That's the problem. They just said the game's already 57% off or whatever in the UK, and then when you like click on it, it's like this is a fucking eBay seller, like a reseller. It's like
one guy.
Yeah,
it was literally one guy. This is the problem I have with like IGN and having their views on basically. This is something IGN does a lot. Is if they have a certain view on a video game, they keep that view regardless. They're like, oh, this is what we thought about it. We have to kind of stick to our guns, and that's a terrible mentality to have. Especially like, oh, Suicide Squad wasn't what I thought it'd be, therefore I'm going to judge it harshly within the media. Like, it's one thing for us to do it, like oh, because when I first saw Suicide Squad, I'm like, I don't know, it's not, I was kind of like that too, but I'm not reviewing it. I'm not the mass media for the most part saying like you should not buy this game. I was just kind of skeptical on it for the most part. But something IGN loves to do is if they have a message, they want to make sure that it is known. It happened with Starfield. Like they how many times did they post the 7 out of 10 Starfield review? Like probably the most posts I've ever seen IGN do actually before I blocked them was like 7 out of 10 Starfield every single day with Hogwarts basically just refusing to either cover it or whatever agenda they had with Hogwarts with the main media refusing to give it any awards despite it being the most sold game last year. Like no mention of it because they were like, oh, we don't like J.K. Rowling, that means we don't like Hogwarts. This is like something they tend to do with a lot of games, and it's a kind of exhausting. Like you have people who hate Xbox review Xbox games. You have people who hate fighting games review fighting games. Right? It's just
Yeah.
There's just if you don't like Xbox, you should not be reviewing Xbox games. That's just the way it is. And if you are seeing Suicide Squad and you just have this agenda like, oh well, I guess I hate it. If I was WB, I would not give them a code
I
ever
mean,
again.
they already made up their mind. Like, I doubt them. Like,
Yeah, they
only
made
way
up their mind.
the only way they change their mind is if they actually see like outside perspectives. That's the only way they're going to change their mind.
They got to be influenced.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like
That prove me right mentality is what's wrong with their like they are supposed to be. You're supposed to have that journalistic integrity, right? Something that I don't even know if it used to be a thing, but it's definitely not a thing now.
It used to be like very much so back in the day of like the classic gaming magazines and all that stuff. And like gaming reviews are always opinion based, right? But there was a lot more objectivity focused in how they looked at games in the past, whereas now it's more just purely opinion and taste, right? And preference. And like a lot of these games have such high quality and production values that are given no credit for. It's like, I don't like this, I don't like that, but you're bypassing like crazy ambition and scope and scale and quality of graphics and story and all these different elements that they will just completely bypass to focus on only certain things that they deem as negatives, right? Whereas the quality and production value in certain games is a given. Other games, wow, this is amazing production and quality and stuff from the studio. This studio came out of nowhere to deliver this amazing experience. Meanwhile, that same game could have lots of issues and all these other kind of problems that the other games don't have. So it's picking and choosing based on favoritism at times on what is acceptable and what's not based on the hive mind media and all that kind of stuff. So that opens up interesting discussions about, okay, well, like picking and choosing who gives reviews based on giving favorable scores is obviously seems like a shady thing from a company to do as well, right? So that opens up like potential issues there. However, I will say this. IGN has proven to me now that they lack the ability to give a fair, objective review to games. And same with lots of other big games media. In fact, I have seen games, reputations, and it gets swayed, and also public perception gets swayed based on these games media news outlets, which have had massive negative impacts on games that have been high quality, that deserve sequels, that deserve more people playing them. Yet when it's decided from these people that it's not good, or that we don't like this practice in gaming, we don't like this, therefore we're going to make sure that it's reflected in our score, in our writing, and our headlines and everything going forward to make sure we're standing on this post. The same kinds of media who outcry about layoffs and all the other kinds of horrible things happening in the industry will go out of their way sometimes to seemingly try and make sure a game is not successful. Therefore, when IGN or one of these games media outlets comes out after they give a negative score or a controversial score to a highly popular or well looked forward to game, when people are like, that doesn't make sense, like, especially based on the writing, why would you give it that score? They're like, oh, it's just, you're looking too much into this. This is just one person's opinion. It doesn't mean anything. It's almost like different people have different opinions on games. When you have that approach, right? When you have that approach saying that our review isn't really that important to the grand scheme of things, is what they're trying to come across. It's just one person's opinion. How the fuck does it matter so much now? How does it matter so much that
reviews are just opinions
to the entire industry, and the consumers are fucked unless IGN gets their say so? Unless we say the game is good, unless we tell you what's acceptable or not in games, it's damaging to the consumer. I say that is the big ass fucking contradiction, IGN, and a lot of the games media from there have said this same kind of shit. It happened after the Starfield reviews, happens after other things. Oh, it's just one person. It's almost like different people have different opinions. Oh, why are you criticizing us over our score? It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. Well, wouldn't your Suicide Squad review just be an opinion based on one fucking person that works at IGN? How is that person so important for the quality control aspect to the community? You are not important. You held no fucking importance to consumers and what we enjoy or what we can determine is quality or not. You do not get to say so. Unfortunately, you have lost your power. You suck ass now. You have completely obliterated your reputation to the consumers. We see through your bullshit. You pick and choose. It is no longer about quality. It's no longer about good games and about the industry and all this stuff. It's about your fucking clicks, bro. It's about what you like, and that's it. And I don't care what you like. And nobody else does either. If they do, that's on them. People got to think for themselves. How many streamers are going to be streaming this game? How many people are going to be playing where they can ask somebody? How many people can talk on Discords or forums, all these other places? How many YouTubers or videos can they watch about this game? You are not needed. It is not going to be bad for the consumers if you do not get a code. I'm sorry. But
also, it wasn't even, I don't even think it was WB blocking IGN access because they know the review's going to be negative. The entire reason it's fucking blocked in the first place is, one, it's a live service game, so the servers didn't even launch till fucking today anyway, so how are you going to review it? All the reviews are going to come out at the same time now. The reason IGN is pissed off is because they're not going to get the first coverage, so they're not going to be able to get the review out day one or whatever. That's the reason they're pissed off, because they're not getting the clicks immediately above everyone else.
Yeah.
They're on equal playing field with the entire fucking population.
It's so easy if people just like wait like 8 hours after a game comes out and then decide to buy it, because there's going to be so much information out there. Like, I see people talking in the chat about Redfall. Well, what if there's only positive reviews about like a game like Redfall? Well, like, if people just don't buy it day one, like, or like the first several hours, you can already get an idea. Secondly, Redfall's in Game Pass. That's a bad example.
People
anyway.
want a game are gonna buy the game, right?
Yeah,
but like your view, if your review is just an opinion, exactly what you're saying, Mav, then you should be fine with not getting a code, right? It's just an opinion.
And there's a lot of people that love Redfall, and I would say like there was maybe there would be people that would have enjoyed a game like Redfall if they didn't have a lot of public perception about saying how they should hate it. Now, I'm not saying that's a great example, but that there is examples out there of games where the public perception has been so overwhelming that it's almost like I shouldn't like this, and it can affect
last year.
It can affect your perception going into a game and actually cause you to enjoy it less. There's actual science behind that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, but the whole
the thing that gets me. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, the thing that gets me is we're still caught up as if this is the 80s or 90s, like where we need this magazine weeks before the game comes out because it takes time to go to the store or wait for the midnight launch, or we're ordering it online and it takes a couple of days to get. Last time I checked, we're in a digital age. You can download it immediately after you decide. So wait until streamers are streaming it, Wait until, because everybody has a friend within their circle that probably buys almost every game day one and will give you their feedback on it. So you have that as a source. You have, what you will see as far as streamers and reviewers that, weren't fortunate enough to get the early reviews, which at this point I'm kind of done with the early reviews because like,
I don't even look at reviews.
well, the big thing is they've already made up their mind. They show us who we thought they were when, they say, well, Far Cry 6 is still a Far Cry game and here's why it's bad. It's like
Yeah.
it's a Far Cry game. What were you expecting? Were you expecting Spider-Man? Were you expecting something else? Like why do we always have to have
And that was a
these
conversation, Fuzzy,
reviewers?
that led up until the launch of Far Cry.
Yeah.
Right? It was already determined that because this is Far Cry, that it shouldn't be that anymore. It was so weird, Like
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they punish games for being what they are. But go ahead, Fuzzy. You had a point.
Yeah, no, they make up their minds in advance based on what they had hoped the game would be. Like, perfect example, although it didn't work, was with The Division because some influencers as well as the media got to play an early version of it and looked at the trailers and they were like, wait, it's different. We were expecting it to be kind of like this, and it's actually this. And in all honesty, I think a lot of people preferred what they actually had as opposed to what some of the influencers and some of the bigger media sites were saying it was going to be, as far as how it played out. Now things change with updates, and Ubisoft always has a way of screwing stuff up and then trying to work hard to fix it, type of deal. But it just seems like there's a lot of games out there that aren't given a fair chance because either it's number 3, 4, or plus or whatever in the series, and somehow now these media sites think that, well, the game needs to always change. I mean, as long as the mechanics or the storyline evolves, that's great, but don't expect the game to randomly be something totally different than what it's been in 1 through 3 in the fourth iteration. And I don't know. I don't understand why they're upset about game codes in general. Like, I honestly don't
They
understand
weren't. That's the
why they get
problem.
them for
They were
free.
upset about them losing first access. That's
Yeah.
I think the main problem.
Yeah, but I honestly I wish all that went away. Like, buy the review. Like somebody like ACG. Shout out to him. Buy the review code or buy the game and then either auction it or keep it, whatever you want to do with it. But buy it. Why are you? I get why you get the free samples, and it's like that with a lot of other cases. Although with the automotive, you don't get the car for free. You get to use it for a little bit of time, but you don't get to keep the car in a car review. So why do you get to keep the game? I don't know, but maybe I understand the cost difference is tremendous, but it bothers me that they have this attitude about, well, we're not going to be first, which I understand. You're a big media site, you expect certain things, but when you keep on crapping on stuff, and this studio, because remember, WB, if this thing fails, I don't think Hogwarts can make enough money to save the studio that made it, which they're fine. But Rocksteady might be on that brink where they have mass layoffs if this thing doesn't perform to some extent. So if I'm WB, yeah, let me protect my own interests and not give it to these guys, because that big influence is going to send shockwaves to the point where people that would have given it a shot aren't going to give it a shot, and we may not be able to recover. And then next thing you know, Rocksteady is closed. So I don't know. Screw IGN. I block them. I say block IGN, but it was funny. One of their writers was in the chat for Boom Show earlier today because they were so pissed off. He was like, "I guess everybody should just spend $100 and find out the game for themselves." I was like, "No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying wait until the game actually comes out, or wait until you see what streamers say, or wait until the person that always gets the copies day one gives you feedback, or just wait for the reviews. They don't have to be before the game.
Yeah, it doesn't have
It's
to be
not like
IGN,
before.
right? Like that's the thing is
Exactly.
like there's so many other avenues now. Like there's so many other avenues. Like consumers within gaming have so much more ability to make informed decisions about what they're buying than ever before. You don't need an opinion from one journalist to tell you if something is good or not anymore. And honestly, most games these days are super high fucking quality. Let's just be real. I mean, yeah, you may not like the story in a lot of games. You might not like this or that, and optimization is a problem. I agree, but overall, like these days, like fidelity, like audio, like a lot of these different factors are like really good. Gameplay mechanics, are better than they've been in forever most of the time in a lot of these big games, and like they get trashed on for the littlest stupid reasons sometimes, like,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Punishing
you pick
Starfield
apart
for being a Bethesda game.
you pick apart little things that like aren't really in that grand scheme of things is going to be that important to the overall consumer, but it's just ultra that important to that reviewer, right? And like those things can like really hurt a game. Now, I'm not saying that reviews should just go away in general, like, but they have no real value as much to the consumer anymore like they used to back in the day. I get way more information watching somebody play a game than I do from somebody writing an article about how they felt about the game, right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, sometimes you may get information that you don't get because there's different nuanced things.
You can also like look up like whatever part of the game you want. Like for Diablo, for example, you can look up like in-game builds. You can look up how the in-game plays. You don't have to. You just don't get like one short paragraph. You can look up a whole 15, 20-minute video of some guys like explaining in-game and how shit works to you. You can look up any part of the game you're like questioning.
There's been so many times when like I've seen lots of people say the same thing about a game. I play the same game, and I have the complete opposite view of what I experienced, right? Because I don't let myself get influenced by the
sentiment
public
echoed.
perception. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I really liked that part. Or I thought it was amazing. Right? Like some people will say, oh, the ending was horrible. I'm like, I fucking thought that was the best ending of a game I've played in years, right? Like, you never know like how it comes across, but like really, the games media and the reviewers, it's less about objectivity and quality and stuff these days. It's more about just personal preference, right? And I don't need a Destin Legary or somebody at IGN to tell me that their preference was justified by the code that they got from free from the company. Doesn't fucking matter to me, right?
Yeah. And some of the people. Yeah, go ahead.
Do I have doubts that Rocksteady is going to make a quality game? No. It's fucking Rocksteady. Like, is it different? Yeah, it's different for them.
The only time I look up reviews is like if I have an opposite of opinion of like what I'm seeing as the majority. I'm like, am I wrong here? So then I go look up in a review just to see if I'm like the only one that's like, oh, I'm the only one that hated this part, or I'm the only one that liked this part, or something. Like that's the only time I check out reviews is to validate my own opinion.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, for sure. And then with IGN, last thing I'll say about them, it's like there's been so many cases over the years because I see some people's like, well, some people are talented writers at IGN and stuff like that. I'm like, sure, but like the company overall, I've seen way too many examples. Even Jasper had a moment with an IGN employee, basically, where Jasper was pointing out, like, hey, you keep leaving Xbox out of a platform, and then the guy's like, what are you, conspiracy theorists? Like, what, like, tinfoil hat, whatever he said. Like, I think we've all had different individual encounters with IGN employees, where we're just like, bro, I think I'm good. And yes, you have like your Allen Iverson. This is my basketball reference. You have your Allen Iverson, who was super good. Basically was leading the 76ers, but everybody else on the team was kind of trash. For I would say almost like every single season, in my opinion, because he was really just carrying that team. So yes, you may have a few shining examples of IGN who have journalistic integrity, but they're surrounded by just people who are obsessed with clickbaiting, people who don't really care, who basically have an agenda. Like, how many articles have you seen of Hogwarts? Probably like barely, even though it's the most sold game. This is like a lot of agendas that we've been talking about. I'm done with them. If I was WB, if I was any other company, this is why I probably shouldn't be running these companies, but I would be like, I'm not giving IGN a code ever.
Again, it wasn't WB wasn't picking them because that's going to be a negative review. They just didn't give anyone fucking review codes because it's a live service thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't
but
launch till the 30th.
but we've seen how IGN kind of react. They're kind of in their crybaby phase.
Well,
like
they were reacting
it's
more
gonna-
so because they're not getting a code. Period.
Yeah.
Right. So like other outlets are getting a codes for the 30th and stuff. Like
Oh
that,
wow,
right?
the biggest
they
games
should
media outlet can't fucking afford a code. Their employees have to buy one now. They
But
can't get 20 free codes to hand out to the whole fucking company.
Their coverage will literally be the same as anybody else's. There will be no difference because everybody else will get the same code activated at the same time that they're able to play the game. So like there is no like lack of coverage from IGN because of this.
They're just they have to buy a fucking game.
It's just they're like it's
that importance factor, Mav. That's something me and
Yeah.
Pong actually have talked about, like behind the scenes a couple of times. Like, if you are a journalist, you are not more important than a gamer just because you're a part of IGN and Umbrella. Like, look, I'm part of IGN. My opinion matters more than yours. I see this quite a bit with like the Ryan McCaffreys, the Paris Lilies, all the different stuff where like my opinion has more weight than what you're saying, and I never really agree with that. Even if you're a dev, like I'm a dev, I don't think my opinion matters than anyone else on this panel. Like I may have certain insights like here and there, but I feel like there's this mentality that a lot of people, especially like Ryan McCaffrey, have. Like, we're protecting a consumer, we deserve this code. Like, I don't think you guys deserve anything. You can have a code. It's nice to have a code, but you don't deserve a code from anyone. Like, that's just how I look at it. Like, it's cool to get a code because it does the publisher will help you promote the game, but you don't deserve a code at any point. Like, it's a privilege. Like that you get a code. Like, sure, I'll give you a code.
It's a business. IGN is a business. Like just like any other. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like Chuck with a blog and he's like, oh, I really wish I could get my code because if it'll do wonders for me. You know, like, no, this is IG fucking in. Like they're make tons of money. You know, like I don't feel bad for them if a publisher decides not to give them early access special privileges to them. They're getting no different privileges than anybody else. Like,
remember when Reforged didn't get a fucking Starfield key?
Oh,
Everyone cried about that.
Oh, I guess I'm not special enough to get a key, but it's because I'm on that negative talk about Starfield. No, you just don't fucking matter, dude. Like, that's why you didn't like. That's it's like,
buy my coffee.
Why would they care
Entitlement is crazy,
about
man.
your feedback, like, or review? Like, you think you fucking matter? No, like, in IGN, I think is the thing because they are the biggest games media outlet, right? So they have that, like, we're the biggest games media, like that's how they promote themselves. So they're not getting a code. It's like a slap in their face, right? Like, we don't need you anymore. Like, you can cover our game if you want to, right? But we're not gonna.
Honestly,
We're
people
not gonna help you sabotage our game. You're already doing great at that yourself. So why would we assist you in the process? Thank you. And like, people say, I saw somebody in the chat saying like, picking and choosing who to send codes to only helps the publishers. Yeah, for sure. And they're a fucking business, just like those media outlets are businesses, right? The consumers, us, have the final say so if a game is good or not or succeeds. And sometimes it feels like a battle between the media and the publishers, right? And what is going on there and what's allowed to succeed or not. We, as the consumers, should take that into our fucking hands about what games are good and what games should succeed and what not. Don't let the games media already preemptively have a negative impact on what potentially could be something successful or good. There's seen that too many times now. How many like hate bait click articles have we seen about a Starfield like months after fucking release, right? How many
Like,
different
no one's talking about it while they have an
how,
article
how many
about it.
medias
Yeah,
that's
everybody forgot.
how much of big games media decided because of J.K. Rowling not to even cover Hogwarts Legacy, right?
Mm,
How is
a
that
lot.
okay? How is all the a lot of these games media trying to downplay and just try and shit talk Pal World okay, right? How do they get to determine what people should like and not play, or try and diminish the quality or value of a game to consumers, right? And ultimately, we have the tools in front of us as consumers without sites like IGN, like a GameSpot, like these big media outlets that legacy games media, to determine what's good or not and justify it and judge for ourselves what we want to invest in. All you got to do is have a little bit of patience, right? We're not pre-ordering shit at GameStop anymore as much. Like, we're buying shit digitally, right? Even GameStop stopped getting extra copies of stuff. They only took whatever pre-orders like people would get for their copy. Like, that whole aspect of like hype and excitement and pre-order numbers, all that shit. So it should be a thing in the past, right? We should focus on what games succeed at launch and after launch, and what's good and what's not, without any preconceived fucking biases from the media interfering with that process. I really
and also
think so.
like if IGN thinks it's just them getting chosen out or whatever, they literally got flown out to WBCs to play the fucking game a couple months ago. I guarantee you, not every other fucking media outlet got chosen. There was someone that's probably left out. Do you see them fucking whining? No, they got to fucking buy the code or get a code today. That's how it just fucking works.
Yeah.
You can't all just be fucking special.
Yep. Yeah.
It is what it is, and again, this is the last point I'll make. It's just like I was posting about this earlier on Twitter. I was basically saying that I think a lot of developers should be more selective of who they give codes to, because these review outlets, they don't really care about what a game's goals are.
They're not
They
fans of
they're,
games, a lot of them.
they're not
It's-
like if
They
you
don't
if you
even know.
don't like.
Half of them don't even know what games are. They fucking got into the game industry because that's the fucking job they good. They couldn't get a political fucking writer position. They're like, I guess I'll write about video games, even though I never fucking played one. Oh, I can't beat fucking Cuphead tutorials. Too fucking hard. Yeah,
Yeah, like these
or
people should
figure out
not
how
be
to play
playing game.
Vampire Survivors co-op on a preview
Yeah,
event.
exactly.
You know, like
Like if
different
you
things
are
like
playing,
that.
if you are viewing a game like Cuphead and you don't know how to jump, you should not be reviewing or playing or being around reviews of games in general. Like I've seen too many like popular review sites, like they'll hate a genre and then they review that genre. I'm like, why? Or if you are punishing a game because like Suicide Squad is not what you expected it to be, rather than review it for what it is. That's the most frustrating thing to me. Like I understand like expectation, like if a game's not for you, it's not for you. But to basically like preemptively decide this shouldn't be successful or this should be successful. Freaking Jedi Survivor, one of the buggiest games I played. No mention of any of it in reviews because it's Star Wars, bro. That's the stuff I'm kind of talking about. Or Spider-Man 2 being one of the buggiest games I've played last year. No mention of any bugs in like any major publication. Just things like that where I'm just like, you as a major publication, you deciding what should be successful and what shouldn't is why I don't like sites like IGN. Is
They
why
would claim they don't have that power, or they it's just their opinions, right? That's
Yeah.
what that's what their take is all the time. Every single time that we
Our
say,
opinion.
after we say, oh, that like this is like unjustified, or whatever the score is, like it's just an opinion. It's just one person's opinion or whatever. It's and they come with that attitude. But that's my main problem here. Like, is that it's a massive contradiction to the value of their review.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, it's just
right?
like
Why does it? If
it's
you
just
say it doesn't
fuck them at the
matter,
end of the day.
but now
Like,
it does matter. So should we trust you as the gaming site of quality and tell us what's good and not, or should we not? Because it seems like you say when that fits your narrative, right? Like right now, their reviews are super important to the gaming community because we got to hold these publishers accountable, right? But when they give a game a lower score, then a lot of gamers feel like it's justified. They're like, oh, well, it's just our opinion.
I mean, you can see who actually like cares about game reviews. It's so easy, like ACG or like the guys over at Game Ranks or whatever, that YouTube page where they're like buy, wait, or sell, whatever. Like the people that actually put in the time and care about games, it's so easy to spot.
Yeah,
like
it's so easy these days. Like
too much water, too much speed.
Fillmore Pocket says, "What's the benefit of review codes? Would Hi-Fi Rush or Power World be as successful if they gave IGN a 1 to 2 week monopoly on the opinion?" Yeah, 100%. Like if they came out and got 5s and 6s beforehand, hype could have been destroyed. You know, who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, we got super chat from Pharaoh 2525 OG Gaming with a $5. Says IGN is trash. Let them get their pony codes and continue to lie about them. Right on. Appreciate you. We got one more segment here on FSP. Everybody, it's called Tidbits. This is Tidbits, a segment where we look ahead at the games coming out for the week. What do we got this week? I'm ready to go, Jasper.
Okay, hit the play button.
Death Stranding Director's Cut coming to an iPhone or a MacBook movie.
And Death Stranding coming to mobile. Interesting.
Yeah.
How's the PlayStation community handling this?
They're ignoring it at this point.
Yeah,
They're not talking about it. I mean, they were kind of warned about that whole mobile and PC that their CEO said the other day, but you know.
Is this published by 505?
Yeah. 505 pouring out names everywhere. Just like, hey, we got publishing rights. Hey, Xbox, you want this again?
Yeah, the director's cut. So what's the difference? Because I could have swore this is already at the PC now.
This is mobile.
Well, this isn't the mobile video. There isn't a video of what it looks like on mobile, but it's at least coming to like MacBooks and things like that now.
Is it cloud on mobile or is it native?
It's supposed to be native, and the price on it,
Apple platforms,
is $19.99. I don't know what it's going to look like in comparison. This was like more so the PC director's cut, but director's cut added more combat options and some more uniforms and some more like side mission things.
Right on.
I think there was like another vehicle added or something like that as well.
We'll see how the game looks on mobile when there's actual footage out there. I mean, there's some really powerful mobile devices now, so.
I think this is going to be all iPhone 15 for those. Now this here, Blaze Blue Entropy Effect.
Oh yeah.
Coming to PC for $21.99.
This is
I might pick this up for my Steam Deck.
Metroidvania or.
Metrovania with a little bit of like gearing or build stuff to it.
I saw Steel streaming this before. I don't know if he was on a demo or early access thing or whatever.
Yeah, I thought I seen him play this too.
Was it this one or was it like an older one?
It may have been an old one.
I don't know.
Is this one supposed to drop Wednesday of this week? But there is another, what do you call them? Blaze Blue that was before this.
Yeah, the Blaze Blue's a fighting game franchise, so this is different for them.
Yeah.
Oh, early access.
Now it says launch price $19.99, but Steam is saying $21.99.
Song of Nunu.
Yeah. The League of Legends story. For PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S comes out Wednesday for $29.99.
Find the heart of the blue, Nunu.
I mean, I get cameo vibes from this for some reason.
For the winged mountain. The Yeti and his boy are so close. That foolish hero. I'll deal with him. Then the Yeti will bring me its secrets.
So it's a League of Legends sort of
At least my
spin-off.
friend is a Yeti.
Mhm.
Besides,
Yeah,
it's
they've been
way
doing
too fast.
League of Legends side stuff. They call them League of Legends stories. This is like
Since I seen
the
art.
fourth spin-off game or something like that now, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so interested in the world of League of Legends right after watching Arcane. Like, it's one of the best freaking cartoon, anime type shows I've ever seen.
When's the next season?
What is this releasing on?
Oh, this is coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S.
I just don't give a fuck about League of Legends. I never-
I mean, I didn't either until I seen Arcane, so I'm kind of interested now.
What's this?
Winter Soldier said, this is why Overwatch should do spin-off games. That'd be cool. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. That could be a spin-off thing, Blizzard, that someone could pitch.
It took
Hey, I
like
wanna-
7 years to get 4 campaign missions out that were super
There's an
short.
entire
That
army
wasn't a
at the
full
gate.
campaign like they
An
promised, so
army called
we'll see.
Yeah, facts. Truth and facts. I have nothing to say about the logos this week. Pretty good.
All right, this next one should be Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Yeah.
Only on PS4 and 5 and PC for $59.99. Coming this Thursday.
This is one that Pong and Steel are for sure getting, and I've been thinking about it. It looks awesome. I did get the last Grand Blue Fantasy fighting game that they came out with, but yeah, this looks pretty dope. Not gonna lie.
O Shaman of Salvation.
It's just so much
Long
stuff,
have we
man.
waited
It's
for
coming
this
out.
day.
Like, is this the one that gets left by the wayside or not?
You are unworthy.
Good thing we know where that red ship is going. Grand Cypher will hunt it
Like
down.
just like last year was pre-stacked with games, we're already starting off with a bang. So,
Yeah.
Arise, my lovely
I feel like
babes.
anytime there's a good anime-looking game like this coming out, there's always something right next to it. I'm
I
like,
will
eh.
protect her.
Like, I would buy this if there's like a big dry spell in the games right now, but it's like, there's so much other shit. It's like, whatever. And then I'll forget about this and never play it.
Where were you when I needed
Yeah,
you?
visually
This,
it looks
this is one that
awesome.
you probably pick
The
up when it's
ordeals of
on
our
sale or
pilgrimage are
something.
nearly at an end.
Like, the same
Or
thing
we
happened
could
like a
But
couple
your
years ago with
crew
like
is
a Tales of
largely
Arise or whatever. I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then something else came out like a week later. I'm like, I'm not buying that thing.
And salvation
They need
shall
to
come.
spread out their release
No one
dates
gives
a
a
bit.
crap about your evil plans. Just
Or
keep our
drop it in
plans
Game
down.
Pass so I get
Hear me?
time.
That is the light of the apocalypse, the fire of doomsday. If the attack lands, all the skies will be obliterated. Lyria, ready?
You know, it looks
It's time
interesting.
to end this.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Yeah, these logos are pretty good this week. Good job.
This
One
one's a
Punch
bit of
Man.
a weird one. Yeah, One Punch Man World. Now it's supposed to come to PC and it's coming to mobile. Mobile is going to be free to play. I guess it's going to be free to play on PC as well, but there's no info on it just yet for PC. It's supposed to come out this Thursday.
I do not know Monty Ohm, but he was the reason why I became an animator. He was incredible. Love Monty Ohm. Alright.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, he's.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, but he was great.
I was at that the RTX that year he died or whatever, and they had like a big like wall that like all the fans could sign.
Oh, dang! I wish I could. Pull that. But yeah, he's a major inspiration to me even becoming an animator.
Alright, this is
is
Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC for $59.99 this Friday.
In that case, let's win.
A lot of anime games this week, man.
Yeah.
There's another one too.
Run now.
It's anime week here on FSP.
Let's go.
Thinking you're ready for this? Shall I show off a little?
I won't do my anime.
Do it for you.
Itadori! Let's hit him with a 1-2.
He's your boss, you know.
You killed my brother.
All you have to do is believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in everyone. We can be strong. Stronger together. We can do this.
I'll lecture you.
I've only achieved half of my power.
You'll shower him with blows.
There's really only one piece of advice.
If I get stronger, I can do it for me. But not just for me, but for everyone. Stronger together, stronger forever. We are one. I must get all my power from deep within.
Possible match for you.
You're pathetic.
I'll do it.
I can do it.
The technique. No main expansion.
Provide the sound effects.
This is
It's
how
all me, nothing, not. Oh, it doesn't
are the true humans. Domain expansion.
Still better than Young Yet.
Expansion.
Should have hired him.
I have to get strong or
I
I
would've
won't be
did it.
able to choose how I die.
I'm just realizing this is Jujutsu Kaisen. Wow. It took a long
I'll
time for
become
me to
strong.
realize that. It took way too long. I'm a fake fan.
Jujutsu Kaisen! Who's Clash?
Oh dang, what the heck? They have a lot of what? Whoa! How many additions do they have? They have like 6 additions.
And,
With
Yeah,
more
they always
additions,
have it.
we can make more money for more people, for everyone.
Persona 3 Reload.
Wow, this really is anime weekend. Unreal.
Now this is coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC, and it's in Game Pass day one.
Let's
If you're looking to buy it, it's $69.99, so full $70.
Okay, I still have to beat. I can't even play this. I can't even look at this. I still have to beat Persona 3, the regular Persona 3.
Welcome to the
What is
Velvet.
this? Is this like a
That
sequel?
doesn't. That sounds like a
That's in
another
Persona,
place.
the Velvet Room, man. Come on, you don't know the Velvet Room?
Nope.
You played a
You
Persona
never
before?
played Persona, Jasper?
Nope.
You gotta
Are you
visit.
gonna play
You gotta
Persona?
go to the Velvet Room, bro.
Play it day one with Game Pass.
Pretty good. Played in Game Pass.
Oh, mute the music.
We're out on good behavior.
Oh, I was muted the whole time. I thought that's why we're doing voiceovers.
Here we go. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Despite IGN, we will overcome. This is gonna be played tomorrow. I'm gonna be playing
Whoa,
it.
that's
so looking
cool.
forward to it.
Was that a big, like, that was cool. Big Green Lantern boss. That looked cool.
Yeah. So like, there's Harley Quinn. There's Captain Boomerang. There's King Shark.
Deadshot.
And Deadshot. Right? And then there's Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman,
Superman, Green Lantern.
and Green Lantern. Right? Is that everybody?
Unless there's someone else.
Also
Yeah.
is in this. But then they also
Well,
announced,
Brainiac took him over.
right.
Like,
They announced there's more content coming for other characters. So like Joker's already been announced.
Yeah.
I'm
You have to
wondering if
kill
this
the
will lead
Justice
into
League?
Wonder Woman's
What?
name.
But he was right about one
Vampire
yeah.
the Masquerade, Justice.
Someone had to pay.
Didn't this game
Comes out Friday to PC for $29.99.
Okay. I'm not a VR man, but I I want to be one day. And didn't this game already come out? Is this just a
it's,
VR?
it's
like
on
a
PS
VR.
and PSVR as well as MetaQuest.
Gotcha.
But you've already caused a lot of trouble.
Wasn't they working on?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, weren't they working on some new one? Because they were making
part 3. They were working
Yeah.
on or something.
Okay.
But, I heard a little rumor that MetaQuest 3 outsold PSVR 2 30-1.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were looking at like the Amazon sale numbers or something for like throughout the holidays or whatever.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, but that's interesting. I wonder why. I mean, Meta is just it's on PC, so this
It's
PC
'cause-
is the bigger.
It's self-contained, or you could
Yeah.
hook it to a PC, so
Damn. That's like
you don't have to have
You don't need a PlayStation
$500 piece of
5.
hardware.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I don't know why that was flickering like that.
There was no love.
It also has a
between
name.
me
in
and
the
Desire.
We're on the
VR.
same
Oh,
trailer
But he
again.
was right about one.
Yeah.
That was the last one.
No, that's
Oh, it
it.
was the last
Yeah,
one?
that was it.
Okay. It was like wigging
Oh.
out, man.
Yeah, I saw it.
Ah! It's starting to. Woo. What the hell?
What's happening?
Apologize if you're sensitive to lights, bright flashing lights, everybody. Anyway, well, that's pretty damn big week for games. This is the biggest week this year so far. I feel
Here,
like,
biggest tidbits in the wall.
yeah, and
Some
it's
decent ones in there.
yeah, a lot of anime inspired stuff, a lot of JRPG stuff, but some other things as well. But yeah,
I
overall,
liked all the
good-looking week.
logos. Pretty good.
We did get during tidbits. We got a $5 super chat from Pharaoh2525 OG Gaming. Appreciate you again. Says there is a question I like to ask of all good content creators. If I can take a credit card, swipe it, own both my competitors, what place am I in? I will answer this question in the only way that I know how. What is the interest rate? Anyway. All right, let's get moving on, everybody. Thank you all for watching this show. And, we had a lot of fun discussions, but you all rock. If you do like the content, hit the like button, share this out, notification bell, all that kind of cool stuff. Jasper, where can everybody find you, sir?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper, Twitter, Lord Match Jasper, YouTube, all that fun stuff. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, right here on FSP, Fun Speculation Network. For FSP, Fun Pop, and Xbox Ultimate. That's where I am. That's what I do. Check it out.
Right on, bro. Appreciate you, Jasper. Fuzzy Belvedere, where can everybody find you, sir?
Just thank you for having me on here. As always, love doing this with you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Greatly appreciate you guys coming out. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. For those who want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. And then look forward to seeing you guys here, hopefully at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday night for Xbox Ultimate. Look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, Fuzzy. And 3-bit, new place tomorrow. But where can we find you? Next time we see you, you'll have a different background. It'll
This
be
is
a
like the
different
fifth
person.
time he's moved since he's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a journey. This will be the last time you guys see this boring background.
I've grown
where it's
fond
just
of
nothing there. Yeah, it's kind of grown on me over
Are
time.
you doing
but-
something special with your next background? Are you gonna like have it look cool and stuff, or are you gonna be boring?
It might just be basic just for a couple months, because then I'm moving again. So
You just
So
said this was the final time.
This isn't the final destination.
this is not the final. This is the precursor to the final destination.
Okay, so this is a stop along the journey.
Yes. So
Okay.
it might be like a green screen or something back here,
Okay.
and then you guys will get the final
Right on.
background. But that one will be very cool.
Don't unpack too much.
I won't. Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of see. I got some some beans.
Is that a vacuum?
Oh, you mean
cleaner?
at the other place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with my vacuum. I started
Yeah.
packing and stuff. But anyways, you guys will see me when I come back and I'm packed in. And you can find me on Twitter at i3bits. I guess I could say this is an official announcement. Should I do it on this show? Sure. I'm doing a show with Steel. Me and Steel are doing a podcast together. It's gonna start sometime probably 2 weeks from now when I get my internet fully set up and all that. So why not? Steel's in chat. He's like, "Hey,
Hey.
yeah, I thought I'll drop it. I'll drop it here." So it's been in the works. He's me and Steel have been working behind the scenes quite a bit, setting it up. It's gonna be a fun duo type show. We're gonna have it's kind of a duo. We're gonna have guests and stuff. So it's not like quite like a PM or a living split. There's gonna be some guests here and there, but it's gonna be a fun show. I'm excited to do it. There's a lot of cool stuff we've been working on behind the scenes, so I'm excited to show that to you guys. So that'll start. Just look out for that. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I'll see you guys on the next show.
Right on, man. I'm super excited to check that out, dude. It's gonna be on Sundays, right?
Yeah, on Sundays.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You and Steel together are going to be absolutely fucking awesome, and can't wait to check it out. But we have tomorrow Fun Pop at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody here on Fun Speculation. Wednesday, check out the PlayStation State of Play co-stream here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern is when we'll get started. And then Thursday, PM and the PM with Pong Soul and I at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Friday night, Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll do it all over again. To audio listeners, working on getting the audio feed still caught up. And it's working on that. Been working on it actually during the show a little bit. So it will... You'll start to probably see some episodes hit tomorrow, and then it should be kind of caught up on there. But appreciate all the audio listeners and appreciate the patience there as well. But I hope you all have a good one. Take it easy, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.